Here I am, this poor white trash kid from New Orleans, never thinking I can be anything. I've been kicked my whole life. Every time I said I'm gonna be in a movie or I'm gonna do a wrestling, I'm gonna do this, do that, they told me what I was gonna be was a loser. You know, my brothers are heroin addicts. You know, my mom was a bad alcoholic and drug addict. I grew up in a boys' home. I didn't have shit. So like, you couldn't embarrass me any more than I was already embarrassed. The only place I had to go was up, because anything lower would be death. Louis Hertham, who's a really great actor, he was nice enough to meet me for breakfast, and I said I wanted to be an actor. And he said, well, I think you'd be better off as a stunt man. He goes, why don't you come to this audition with me?
What's going on here where you're like, you're so comfortable with just like fire? Why are you so comfortable here?
I was married before. The truth is, Mark Bell and Chris Bell changed my life. And I'll cry right now and tell you that. Bigger, stronger, faster changed my life.
It's hard not to when you're like in each other's ear. You know what I mean?
It's true. Whispering sweet nothings.
That's why I don't know why people are so surprised when we act kind of sus. It's like we are in each other's ears all the time. When you're used to another man being right here, I mean, how can you not get a little bit, you know?
Workout purposes too. We got to be close and we got to give each other a lot of support, spotting and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have to palpate the muscle tissue so you know when you're feeling it in your glute or your back.
I don't want to. Half the time I don't want to, but I mean, I do it because it's necessary.
Got to help your homies grow.
It's needed.
Yeah.
Speaking of all this, what's going on with your butthole, Luke?
It's been roughing it. It's got this little spine thing going on. What's the tip of your tail called? The coccyx. Yeah. It's even got a word that I don't want near my butthole. The coccyx.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I did a stone cold stunner about, I don't know.
Is it true you got to send him money when you do that move? Or is he
no, well, I didn't. I technically didn't do a stunner because it was outside the ring, and that was the whole problem. It was on the apron, the hardest part of the ring, and that coccyx decided that I thought it was bruised. I went and got an MRI, X-ray 2 weeks ago, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's got still a little slight fracture, but it's been there for a year, so we would have figured it would have fixed itself already."
Yep.
So I got to ask. In respect, like, how is the other guy doing? Because a stunner done in the center of the ring does have, you know, people probably don't know, the ring does have some padding, but outside the ring, where the ring is harder, not only did it have an impact on you, but the other guy's probably dead.
Correct.
Is he survived?
But yeah, he survived. He didn't die. But the thing is, what saved him was I hit it on the ropes. So he didn't take the full stunner into the shoulder where his neck. Yeah. Well, his throat caught more of the ropes than it did. I mean, look, you see my arms, right?
Yeah.
You see my arms?
Is this a veteran guy or something? I mean, it sounds
Bestia, Seis from Mexico.
Okay.
He's a lucha.
Knows how to defend himself.
Yeah, I mean, his dad's Damien Seis, one of the most famous luchadors from Mexico ever.
Damien Seis?
Yeah.
Oh, 666.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Okay.
Very evil. He's an evil man.
He sends chills through your body.
Got bad intentions.
And his son's very evil, too. I'm going to try this mind bullet tea. I haven't had any yet. You mind if I try this?
Let's give it a go.
You got one over here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Andrew, do you have one over
No, I'm good.
We're live.
Andrew will turn into a gremlin.
Yeah. No, so the gremlins, when they get water on them.
Yeah.
Wait, what happens to the gremlins?
Well, they turn.
So-
well, it's the gizmo turns into all the gremlins and shit.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
We're
That's
on
what
the
happens.
Mark
to me, yeah.
Bell Power
yeah.
Project.
Cheers.
Here we
Luke,
go.
Some
cheers.
mind
Hey,
Make it official.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Give me some, brother. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Oh, man, he's like almost a one sipper kind of guy.
Yo, how much should...
I love getting people's reaction to the flavor.
Hey, it tastes like kratom.
There you go.
That's exactly what it tastes like, kratom.
Very
with a little
earthy.
tea. You know, I don't mind
So
the
Mark
earthy.
nailed the taste then.
So, yeah, because the thing
Tastes
is,
like kratom.
if it tastes like shit, I wouldn't be able to stomach it, and that's just the truth. Like, I won't, that's why, look, you know, I've been with my supplement company for 7 years now. I've never changed. I've always loved their products. And this ain't a cheap plug. I'm just telling
Give
you.
them a shout out. Who is it?
It's Isatory.
Oh, cool.
Fit Life Brands. And they've been great to me. And, you know, they own PMD. They own a bunch of brands. They've been phenomenal with me. And the truth is, every time my contracts come up, I've had offers from other people who want to offer me more and do things. But I've always, like, Isotory's products. And some of the products I've offered, even though they offered me more money, I wouldn't really drink them. I couldn't stomach them. Yeah. So it comes down to a moral thing. Do I want the money that bad? Right. Or would I rather stay true to the people that have been good to me and the products that I take and true? And that's, one of the things. And this isn't bad. I don't mind the taste of Kratom. Kratom, you say earthy, but I don't think it has a bad taste. Like I've drinking so many more protein shakes or pre-workouts right. that when you drink them, like you're like,
you're like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah, this isn't like that.
This has alpha GPC, a little bit of MCT oil powder in there as well.
Yeah, a little Mind Bullet tea right here.
Get you fired up. A little bit of caffeine, not too much.
You know what's wild? I mean, it is a tea, and I don't know. I drink a lot of tea now, but it tastes like tea, bro. It tastes like tea.
Yeah, tea's not like extraordinary, right?
Well, you get used to it, right? I mean, if you drink something or you take it, like Stan got me on the pure press cranberry juice at first, and when I first drank it, whoa,
first
rough. But now I can just sip on it, no problem. It's like alcohol, right? I guess when you first taste alcohol, you're like bitter, and then you see somebody like sipping a tequila or sipping like Jack Daniels. I'm like, oh, why would they want to sip on that? It tastes.
And then you get fucking wasted. You're like, I like this.
How do you recover from a coccyx injury?
Ooh, well, I think.
How do you get yourself back on track?
Well, they told me this is a true story. They told me that they're gonna have to go up in there, which I'm not. I haven't been comfortable with, and I haven't accepted.
And how long? You're about to be like, how many years?
Oh, good thing my phone shut down. Yeah. No, but yeah. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go over to the training room on Veterans Highway, Metairie, Louisiana. Shout out to the training room, physical therapy, and I'm gonna have Jonathan over there go ahead and take his hand and probably stick his fingers where no man has ever stuck his fingers before, which that's his lie, actually. One man has stuck his fingers there before.
And then is it an adjustment from there?
Yeah, it was a doctor.
Why are we glazing over? Oh,
it was a doctor. Okay. So, let me finish before
I thought it was during a match.
No. It was it was a doctor. So, yeah. So, he's going to go in there and give me that adjustment, I guess. And he doesn't, we're saying this on air. He doesn't officially know he's doing this yet. He's offered. Now we're saying it on air. That, hey, you're going to stick your finger in my ass, Jonathan. You're going to fix my my coccyx.
It's like you,
Shout
Jonathan.
out to the training room.
I want your finger in my ass right now.
He's got to be excited.
He's got to be, yeah. And, hey, shout out to a physical therapy brand that's willing to do that for you. We're willing to go the extra mile for their patients. And
you know, these guys been doing jiu-jitsu. Andrew's now been doing it for almost a year and a half, and Nsima's been doing it for many years. But they probably don't know how to reverse themselves out of something like the figure 4 leg lock. Could you let these guys know, just in case they ever get themselves in that predicament, how they would get themselves out of a figure 4 leg lock and reverse it?
The science behind it too, because that fascinates me.
What's a reversal look like?
Okay. We have some room on the floor right here. And Andrew? No. And Nsima, you come down. Andrew handles the camera. and look, I'll put the figure 4 on you, and then I'll have you reverse it on me. Oh my God. So you can feel how the pressure hurts your legs when I have you in it. And I won't put it on tight. I'll just put it on just loosely, right? So you feel it. And then I'll reverse. I'll guide you over to a reversal, which is really simple. And you'll have it on me. And I'm just gonna beg you right now. Don't fucking tighten up because you'll break my legs.
Wait, you truly want me to do this right now?
I mean, I'm going to teach you, right? We talked about this the other day. I said, when we get on the podcast, we're going to get this motherfucking figure 4. Right?
Okay.
We have to, excuse me for my cursing.
We can maybe bring up a clip so they can kind of see what's going on with the figure 4.
You got to use Ric Flair. You got to use
reversal of the reversal of the figure 4.
I was getting ready to start moving cameras around and shit. Okay, hold on. You said Ric Flair?
Ric Flair.
Figure 4 reversal.
Yeah. No, don't show them the reversal. Just show them the figure 4.
Okay.
We can't show.
You can't show the top.
We'll show the figure 4
maneuvers,
and then we'll show and we'll have Nsima demonstrate the reversal.
Dude, perfect technique.
He's in pain right away as soon as he cinches back. Look at that.
Oh Lord,
that's like a double tap.
Yeah,
you probably don't see people tap out like that in jiu-jitsu, but he's doing like a double arm tap at the same time. And see, he's getting leverage. He's getting leverage by scooching up like that.
Yeah, and I feel like, doing drills over and over would teach you better technique on this. Look at that.
All right, Andrew, you got some sort of mobile camera here? This is the first time ever done on the Power Project.
I'll figure it out.
Why y'all gangster me into this shit? What? No. If anyone's going to do this, what? I don't want to. Why are you adjusting the camera? No means no.
Hey, what if you go to Worlds and someone tries to put you in this figure 4 leg lock?
I'm pretty sure no one's going to be putting me in a figure 4 leg lock at Worlds.
You seen the UFC or MMA match where the guy put the Boston Crab on?
Oh, yeah, the Boston Crab.
There's a match where a guy puts a Boston Crab and he submits him.
I did see that.
Yeah, so you don't know.
This is an opportunity to learn from the best.
You might fight someone who just grew up loving Ric Flair. They might want to slap the figure 4 on you in the middle of a
You know who is a huge wrestling fan is Rick Rubin. He's nuts about
really?
it. Yeah, he absolutely loves it. He said that he loves it because he thinks it's more real than anything else in the world. That's what he says about it, which is kind of funny.
Well, it is. It's super real because it's a real lifestyle. We talk about it all the time. How real wrestling is, and when people, it's funny to bring up a point is people like to shame wrestling, right? And they say it's fake, it's fixed, it's this, it's that. But what happens when you have a movie like Iron Claw comes out and Zac Efron and Jeremy and Harris and all these guys go on? The first thing they do is praise those guys for the condition
discipline that they had.
Where they put their body in the pain. They go, oh, we know that wrestling's real hard and it hurts and it's training. But it's funny when they talk about a wrestler doing it, they kind of discredit them, like, oh, because it's just what you do every day, so it doesn't matter. But when somebody from the outside world steps in, they go, holy. How are you doing this? It's such a tough job. It's so hard, and it's so hard on your body, and it's so impactful. And it's just crazy how the perception changes.
Did you guys see that movie? I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I saw it. I liked it.
I made the movie.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So yeah, I made the movie, but yeah. So I was the assistant coordinator on it. So I was the trainer. So I coordinated a lot of the scenes with Chavo Guerrero. And train Zach and train. So I was just telling Mark earlier, the first day I got there to train with Zach.
Epic bench workout, I heard.
Oh, man. So check this out. This is a cool story. So the first day I got to Iron Claw, I just flew in from Memphis from Young Rock. I was filming out there. And I got in, I guess, around 3 o'clock in the evening, and training was going to end at 5. So I come in, I introduce myself to Zach and the guys. They'd already been training with some of my coaches from my Wildcat League. Excuse me. Rubbing up that earthy tea,
earth tones.
Yeah. But so I got there late because I flew in late for the first day of training. And they were so super welcoming when I first got there. Zach was so cool. And we spent about 2 hours together. And then I told everybody, bye, I'm going to go work out. They said, well, where are you going to go work out at? I said, I'm going to find a gym because we're in Baton Rouge. I don't really know anything in the area. So I said, they probably have something close to the hotel. And Zach goes, oh, I got some stuff at the house. Why don't you come work out at the house? I said, well, I got a bench press, do some benching. Yeah, you come over to the house. So I'm like, oh, Zach's super cool, right? And then gives me the address. I go over to Zach's house. And he goes, hey, I like to run to warm up. You mind going on a little run with me? So we go for a run, and we just get to know each other a little bit and, just jogging bullshit. And we go back to the garage, and he says, all right, you ready to work out, He opens the garage. He's got about 5 or 6 kettlebells there. And I thought I was in there with that motherfucker with Nsima. And I was like, God, what am I gonna do? Like, I got a bench press, man. I got to move some weight. I can't do a kettlebell workout. I want to do some pause benching today, some pause repping. Yeah.
So he told you there was going to be a bench press. Yeah. And then there was no bench press.
Hey, and he kicked my ass on a kettlebell workout. And I swear I thought of you in it because you were the first person I thought of. And he brought it up earlier too. He said the same thing because I was like, you always working with him. And man, that was the first time I did a kettlebell workout, and it demolished me.
Yeah.
It was demoralizing.
Yeah, well, I'm not very coordinated in as far as like dancing and all that stuff goes. Like so that rhythm with the kettlebell and the movements, like I haven't mastered it yet. Especially after only doing it 2 or 3 times. Like definitely not mastered it.
You could hit that shit up like super easily though, because you did wrestling.
Hey, so he's trying to get out of the figure 4.
No, we will do the figure 4. It'll be easier if we do the video outside, in the gym. But the thing is, you could figure out kettlebell shit because again, wrestling for as many years as you have, you got to, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, practice with anything. Right? This is what I teach my kids. If you want to get good at something, you got to practice it. And those were values that I learned later in life. We want things quick. We want things easy. We want things, we want results fast. That's it's even worse now. But what nobody really taught me early on throughout my life was the suffering and the pain you had to go through to get to where you truly want to be. If you want something bad enough, you will go through that suffering. And that's what I did with my career, with wrestling, with film, with being a father, with anything. I'm pretty open about my lifestyle. So I was talking to Mark recently. Me and my son Perry, he's 25. You guys know him. He's been here. He's been my best friend. Him and I had a falling out, and we haven't spoken in 8 months, and it's been really difficult. And it just being young, and it's my phone, sorry. To me, he hasn't learned the value of true life and work ethic, because a lot of things he got was because I was his father. And as long as he was a good kid, I gave him those things. I just gave them to him because he was a good kid, because he never got in trouble. He never acted up. He never got a behavior report. He never talked back, maybe sometimes, but, not that much. But he was always a good kid, so I gave him everything. But what I didn't do was I didn't teach him. I just told him or I gave him things where I said, hey, go do this, or do, I didn't tell him why we do these things. And or how long it took you to get to be able to do some of those things, maybe. Right. Well, people, I didn't know. Nobody taught me. So, and I learned. So I had to make, with my second one, who was 12, I had to say, okay, well, I kind of got to dial back a little bit on everything I've give you. I can't give you as much as I gave your brother, even though I have more now in my life. Even I'm in a way better place in my life. And even sometimes as you fight, I'll get into it with my ex sometimes, or we'll have conversations, and the comment's been made before, where, oh, well, you do this in this relationship and you don't do this. You didn't do this in our relationship. And you go, okay, well, look, I was 17 or 18, 19 years old when I was with you. I was couch surfing until my mid-30s, trying to find a career, not find a career. I was chasing the career. Yeah. This is my career. And we know it's not easy. We know the story of the struggling artist, the struggling actor who waits tables in Hollywood or, does whatever, right? And so that's been my struggle my whole life is chasing the dream. And when I finally got to the point where I was successful, I'd learned so much, but I'd separated myself from so many other people that I grew up with or throughout my life, because my lifestyle had to change so much for me to become successful. Before, for me to take that next step or to go to that next level, I had to, separate from certain people. And my son was one of those people. And it's unfortunate because he wasn't, to me, he wasn't putting in the work that needed to be put in for the jobs that require it. And I know what it was like to get those opportunities. So can you imagine what it's like for a guy like myself who comes from nothing, and I want my family to prosper, and I want my family to break these cycles and do good. And, now all of a sudden I got to make the decision to feed somebody else's family instead of my son, because he's not putting the work in that is required on the job behind the scenes, and I have to make that decision as a boss and as a leader, because I can't be a hypocrite and go, okay, well, I wouldn't give that job to somebody else if I had the opportunity, because I know that person's not working for it.
Nootropics. Every single biohacker and their mother talks about the benefits of lion's mane or alpha GPC, blah, blah, blah. We have this mix of supplement, but no one really tells you how to analyze what you actually should be trying to take or what problems you may have. That's why Andy Triana has made the Nootropics ebook now on our website at powerproject.live. Now, we've had Andy on our podcast multiple times, and he's educated us on so many different things along with nootropics. But in this ebook, he goes in depth on how to analyze what your problems may be specifically and how to utilize nootropics to help fix those issues or to help progress in certain areas. Like if you're wanting to speak better, think faster, communicate better. There's so many things he goes in depth on in this ebook, and you can get it now on our website at powerproject.live. The link's in the description along with the podcast show notes.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place today. Sorry about that. But no, it's been, but it goes back to just, just adapting to the changes and moving forward with what I want. I know at that time I was focusing on, growing my company for him. I was focusing on our tag team and being a good role model and going as far as I can with the father-son film and wrestling thing. And then all of a sudden that curveball came in, and it was really out of nowhere. And I had, and then it got worse and worse. And I fought it for a while. Like, hey, are you making the right decision? Hey, are you sure? And you kind of start butting heads a little bit. And then I realized that all my plans involved him. And I didn't have any on my own. And I said, well, now it's time for me to, sorry about that. In order for me to run this, I got to be on here. But in order, my plans were always with him. And all of a sudden, now my life didn't include him. And I had to figure out where to go with my life and what was I doing for me. Mm-hmm. And that's where I decided, well, there's so much I still want to do that I haven't done. And I've neglected a lot of things because I know so many people depend on me in certain markets. But if those people aren't by my side and matching my efforts and work, then I have to really figure out what I'm going to go into. And I decided that I wanted to, really chase my acting because my acting's been really beneficial towards my career. Yeah. And I also wanted to get into some bodybuilding because I never seen myself doing it. And I had some mentors, kind of push me in. And I seen Mark do it, and I seen, guys like you do it. And I don't want to make a career out of it, but it's very, I bodybuild. It's what we do. We work out, we train. I powerlifted forever with you guys and learned a lot from you guys. And now my aesthetic look is so crucial on camera. I don't want to be the big bad guy anymore. I don't want to be the thug. I want to be the lead. I want to be the good guy. I want to be the superhero. I want to be. I can be more than what I was. And for the longest time, I was projecting myself as the big, strong guy. Yeah. And I made that projection. I put myself in that position. And now I go, okay, well, now I have my son. I did this tag team thing. Now where do I see myself going without him? Okay, I don't have to be the angry guy anymore. Now I want to be the guy who cheers people up. I want to be the guy who's building people up. I want to be the guy where when I take my shirt off, people go, damn, I want to look like that. I don't want to just be the big strong guy. I want to have the look. I want the abs, the muscles, the arms, the biceps, the peaks. I want to take it off, and I want people to go, oh shit, and their eyes pop out their head. Yeah. Especially when you're doing that in your 40s. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I'm walking around every day. I can take my shirt off anytime, like you. And I told you earlier, I complimented Nsima because I said, on camera, he always looks great. So we take for granted how good he looks and how hard he works because
he's large.
Yeah, he's large.
Heavy guy.
But I've seen you now coming and seeing you in person for years now, but like just seeing you, I haven't seen you in probably a year or so at least. Yeah. You've slowly put on some mass. So when I see you now, you're thicker than what you were and you're more dense. And you're so huge, but on camera it doesn't show. But if you've seen this guy in person, he's a monster, and you understand why he's wrapping people up at jiu-jitsu and everything and kicking ass. Like if he touches you, you're screwed. Don't. I might not let him put me in the figure four later. I might not let it because I might be.
Let's back things up a little bit. You were mentioning Iron Claw, and you were mentioning some of the stuff you did on there. Explain to us a little bit about that experience, and maybe explain to us a little bit about just even how you got involved in movies in the first place.
Okay. Yeah, and I was all over the place, so sorry we kind of
No, it's fine. It's just that I think that you and I known each other for so long, and you've been on the show before, and we've talked about you before, but I don't think people know some of the details in the background. I think we're just taking it for granted that people just know who you are.
New audiences, and nobody knows who I am. I'm not Mark Bell. Come on, man. No, so I started in film from wrestling. So I've been a pro wrestler 25 years. I started in 1999 right here. Wow. Yeah. And
how old are you, by the way?
I'm 42.
Dude, man, you look
really?
good, man.
Jacked and tan, crushing it. Yeah, just good, and I'm all natty right now too. Wait till I get on some shit. Hey, I walk around the gym every day and I tell these motherfuckers I gotta take the shirt off. I'm like, hey, I'm letting y'all know I'm natty. Just wait till I get on some shit, then y'all really fucked.
Wait, how natural are we talking?
Oh man, I ain't been on some shit in about a year and a half.
Oh man, that's natty.
Oh yeah, that's
born
super
again
natty.
Yeah.
I just did the Merrick Health shit too, so I did all that, and I got all my levels tested. I'm feeling good, baby.
Good shit.
But yeah, so I was wrestling, still wrestling, and I got an opportunity in 2005-06. I had a TV show on MTV called Wrestling Society X with Kevin Kleinrock, and worked with some awesome talent on that and a lot of music talent. That's why I became friends with 3-6 Mafia and formed that brotherhood with them. But yeah, it was cool. So then back then, I was young, skinny, hungry. I got the opportunity to do a film from that, and I thought it was BS. You know, I met a guy there, and they said it was Vampiro, and they told me and him had
a wrestler.
Yeah, the wrestler. We had
a vampire wrestler.
Go figure from the name. Yeah. So him and I had
again. I just think we just take it for granted. Be like, yeah, Vampiro, yeah,
right. Well, we could
the guy is 456 years old. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
A famous wrestler in Mexico named Vampiro gave me the opportunity to be in one of his films, an independent film. And when they first called me to do the film, I thought they were full of shit. You know, like you hear it, you think they're full of crap, right? So they're like, oh yeah, man, we're gonna fly you down to Mexico and we're gonna pay you $1,000 a day, and it's gonna be this.
You're like, get out of here.
Yeah. And at the time, I'm wrestling, but I'm also working like 2 or 3 regular jobs. I'm plumbing, you know, and I'm working like 500 hours a week, working 45, 50 hours a week, tunneling underneath people's house, replacing their sewer, like, you know, 100-foot tunnels under like apartment complexes and shit tunnels of water wearing waiters, making $12. And I was miserable, you know. But then you're trying to find a gym and you're trying to do all these things on top. And like I said, I was couch surfing forever, chasing the business. So I got the opportunity to do the first movie there. They did fly me down to Mexico. I spent a week there, called The Dead Sleep Easy. I was terrible in it. And I thought I knew everything. I said, oh, man, I could do this movie stuff, you know. And, man, when I watched the playback, that's the thing about me. I watched it. I said, man, I was terrible. But I wanted to do more, and it lit a fire underneath my ass because here I am, this poor white trash kid from New Orleans, never thinking I can be anything. I've been kicked my whole life. Nobody ever told me I can do anything. They always told me what I can't do, and they told me what I was going to be was a loser. You know, you're going to be in jail, drug addict, just like your parents, this, that. That's all I've ever been told. Nobody said, hey, man, you're going to kick ass, and you're going to chase your dreams. Every time I said I'm going to be in a movie or I'm going to do a wrestling, and I'm going to do this, do that, you know what they said? Man, you stupid. Why would you do that stupid shit? You know, why don't you do something? You need to get a real job, be successful.
Yeah, that ain't you. You're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That kind of shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. The whole nobody gave me any real encouragement, and but I came from nothing, so I had nothing to lose. And I'm jumping around again, giving you a little backstory, but we wanted some of this. And but anyway, I did the movie, and I was terrible, and I started making some connections. And I met a guy named Louis Hertham, who's a really great actor out of, he was born in Baton Rouge, but he lived in Santa Monica, and he's been in everything. But his first big film was Murder, She Wrote, the TV show. So he was one of the deputies on there. And
wow.
Huge show. Yeah, it was a massive show. Yeah. He was nice enough to meet me for breakfast because of a mutual friend and let me pick his brain on film. And I said I wanted to be an actor. And he said, well, why do you want to be an actor? You've never acted before. He said, you never went to school for it. You never went to theater school. You never went to any of this. And I said, well, I don't know anything about none of that stuff, but I wanted to be an actor. And he goes, well, I think you'd be better off as a stunt man because he's like, you can act because, you know, you've been in front of live audiences and you have this advantage from wrestling and stuff like that. He goes, but you've never taken classes or anything. He goes, but stunts, you know, you're a natural born stunt man. You're a daredevil. You're this, you're that. He goes, why don't you come to this audition with me and be my guest? And I went to this audition at Phil O'Dell's house, a stunt guy out of Bush, Louisiana, and there was about 25 people there, I think there was, when we went to the open audition. I was the only guy they kept, and I started training for 2 years. This is a true story. Like all my stories are true, I always say that, but I always say it because it sounds like bullshit. You tell these stories and people go, oh, wow, you know. Like,
you got some wild shit.
Yeah, just wild shit, man, wild shit. So what I would do is like I would wrestling a lot of the weekends, but I'd work during the week plumbing. I would get off and bartend in the evenings, and then on the weekends I would bounce at a nightclub, and I would train at stunts. So I would get off the nightclub around 3 to 4 a.m. We'd go to IHOP, eat breakfast, drive an hour to stunt class, take 8 hours of stunt class all day, come home, sleep for a couple hours, go back to work all night, drive back across the lake, do the stunt class again.
What is stunt class like?
Well, yeah, it's just you're up all night, you're banging Red Bulls to stay awake, and you know you're learning how to do fire burns, and you're learning how to film fight.
What's a fire burn?
Like getting lit on fire. I'll show you some clips. I'll send you some clips you can throw.
Put on fire kind of recently, right?
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, it's on my Instagram. If Andrew can pull that up.
I was watching that because I
at
know
Rick Ross's house.
I know that's awesome.
Wow,
that's fucking awesome.
That's sick.
I know some of the stuff, you know, because you know I've known you for a long time, and I obviously know the wrestling background. So of course you know how to fall and you know how to do certain things. But I saw this and I was like, oh my god. But Luke is on fire.
So that's Rick Ross's house. Every year we go back for heels and we shoot a scene. So I coordinated that big scene right there with the wrestling. See the wrestling going on.
Did you tell Rick we said what's up? Did you tell him we said hello?
Yeah. I tell him the
Power Project.
The Power Project says hello.
What's going on here where you're so comfortable with just like fire? Why are you so comfortable here?
I was married before.
He's been tortured before. He's felt the pain.
It's like this ain't worse than my last marriage.
Man.
Being on fire. Yeah. But seriously, like back to like why? Well, what
just lit your back on fire?
Yeah. So that's a half burn. And to be honest, I don't get any thrills from that. I don't get hyped up. Like most people, I've been doing it so long now that it's just second nature, right? But you always respect it. You never dial off and like turn it off, the respect, because it's so dangerous. But I've always been cool, calm, and collective under pressure. So that's like the first time I remember the first time I wrestled for WWE in 2003. We came out, it was about 13,000 people. And I only did indie shows before that. And I did a couple thousand, 3, 4, 5,000. But the first time I did a big show, it was natural. Like there was no nerves. It felt like I belonged. So, and it's kind of how I feel when I do all this stuff. It's like you feel like you belong, and you feel like I just have such a strong confidence in what I do and my abilities. But I also train really hard, right? I practice like you. Like I'm not going to try and, I'm a wrestler, but I know how you're a world-class athlete, and I know you'd probably kick my ass right now pretty bad if we tried to grapple. And I'm pretty confident in my wrestling skills and my grappling abilities, but I'll put you over live on the air and how badass you are. Like I know that you're a world-class athlete when it comes to it, and like my abilities aren't as good as yours. So what I'll do is would want to work with somebody like you and spend some time with you and spend a couple days with you and just pick your brain and just have some knowledge and maybe show you some of the things I do and you show me some of the things you do and just learn. And I always do that with Mark. I do that with everybody. I did it with CT, I did it, everybody that I meet, with the film business, the wrestling business, the fitness business. And what we do is we kind of bring people together because we connect each other and we do these different things because this is your guys' life. It's your livelihood. So you have these abilities to have all these cool guests come in. You learn all these different things from people around the world, and it's what you do. I have something to offer. I can come share my stories, my experiences, but I can also pick up on things from y'all while I'm here and take those advantages. And every time I come here, I want to leave with knowledge. Yeah. And I want to take it back home and I want to share it with people that who others that want to learn.
These different movie roles that you have ended up with. Sounds like most of it was stunt work in the beginning, but now it's starting to turn into some other stuff. You're starting to turn into acting, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. It turned into acting a long time ago. I was lucky, so I love stunts. I got into stunts, and I got known as the wrecking ball. Really, like they were like Luke's tough, destroy him. And I started doing some pretty gnarly stunts where they would just wreck me all the time. There, Logan, that was so cool, man. Yeah. How cool is that to be? That's the comic scene, and then that's the movie scene.
Wow.
That's like, I dreamed of that. I legit dreamed of that. Like when I was a kid, like I wanted to be in X-Men. I wanted to be in that stuff. And I come from dirt, dude. I come from the bottom of your shoe. I'm serious. And never in a million years would you expect that I can do something as cool as that, and not just me. It's like what's better than that? And we're going off subject a little bit, but like not just spotlighting the things I've done, but my favorite things to do are when I have the opportunity to change somebody else's life or give somebody those dream jobs. Mm-hmm. I just got to walk the red carpet with Danny Flamingo for Iron Claw. And, like this guy's been alongside me for damn near 12 years now and helped me build my company. And he's a hard worker from Chalmette, Louisiana. And he was never given a chance at life. He was just always going to be a hard blue collar worker the rest of his life, right? And have tough times and, the struggle, the fight, the working man, that's so common in America. That's what I was. Mm-hmm. Still am, and that's what we represent. And that's what Danny is. And, he stuck with me and he knew he was never going to be a superstar wrestler because he was never going to have the body and he was never going to be able to put the time in the training because he had all these bills and he had kids and he had these, responsibilities that he couldn't just push off to chase the dream. But guess what? He looked like Buddy Roberts, and I was able to cast him in Iron Claw and do the job. And he's done other projects with me like Heels, and now he got to go to Dallas and he got to walk the red carpet with Zac Efron, and all his friends and family get to see this guy, like, you know, and they're talking about him on Entertainment Tonight, and they're talking about him on all these talk shows, and you know, and for me to see my guys light up and to see their families and to see the way their kids or other people's looking, that's Brady. We'll go to Danny Flamingo as, if you go to my tag pictures in there, I know he just posted one the other day with me, so that will pop up right away in my tag pictures on Instagram. But it's cool, you know, like we all love our personal accomplishments, right? Like, you've done so many amazing things. You've done amazing things. It's cool when you win, you work hard, and you win something, right? But doesn't it feel so much better when you get to help somebody and you get to give somebody something that you know, change their life, and you know, like, it's not, you're not doing it because you know, to make
somebody, to assist somebody in feeling anything in the way that you feel about something is amazing.
Yes,
like that is like the most incredible feeling ever.
I know the feeling, and I know how hard it is to get those jobs, and I know how hard it is to, or how much you want something, you want some recognition, or you want some opportunity, and you work hard and you work hard, and you think, oh man, maybe I'll just never get it, and then one day something comes, and then, you know, like, man, like, I'm just so thankful. Like, I can go on. I don't want to, but I'm serious. You got to cut me off because I'll go on days about how happy I am about my friends being successful and being able to have these opportunities with them. It's amazing.
You said you came from the bottom of Nsima's shoe. Where is that exactly, and what does that mean?
I was dirt poor, you know. Drugs, alcohol growing up. You know, my brothers are heroin addicts. We've talked about this on the show in the past, but we'll bring it back up. You know, my mom was a bad alcoholic and drug addict. I grew up in a boys' home. I went into Boys Town at 11 years old. I got out of Boys Town at 15.
What's Boys Town mean?
It's a boys' home based out of Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
They're across the country, but it started out there. And I'm actually going to Omaha in January for the first time to go to Boys Town headquarters to speak to the children, because I do a lot of giving back with Boys Town.
When I was boxing, I went to Catskills where Mike Tyson trained, and they said, "What home are you from?" And I was like, "Oh no." I'm like, "What does that mean?" You know, and then somebody else told me, like, all these dudes want to kick your ass because you're rich. I'm like, I'm just not in a home. I'm not necessarily rich.
I hate it.
Like I like to them, you're rich.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the. It's funny because, like, poverty, race, all that plays a factor. Like, I remember I had a friend, Fred. He was, when I was in my, like, early 20s, maybe like 21, 22, I was working with a black guy named Fred that was in his probably late 30s. And he told me, we worked every day side by side. And he told me at that point, he goes, "Hey man, I'm glad I work with you." We became good friends. And he goes, before you and I became friends, he goes, "I thought all white people were rich." And that's what he told me. And this is a grown man. And he's like, "I didn't know y'all struggle like we do," and everything. And it's just poverty from being in the South, you know?
Yeah.
And when I understood, well, I didn't understand that, but I did understand, like what you said. Like, I hated everybody that was rich when I was poor, because rich people typically treated me like shit. And they always looked down on me, and I wasn't allowed to play with those kids because, you know, like, the parents didn't want those kids playing with me.
I would have hired you or something to clean up my house, or you know, to do some plumbing or something around that.
I mean, to be fair, you've always actually kind of, I think, fished and kind of offered me stuff here. You know,
I have.
You have a couple times. You asked me what my interests are, and, you know, just fished out there to see what I was doing. And I don't know who the hell's calling me. We're live on Instagram. I can't, if we're live, and I should have signed into your Wi-Fi, so I could have turned my service off.
It's all good. Wi-Fi here sucks, bro.
But no, yeah. You've offered me, you know, positions, but I've always been grateful for everything you've given me, because, you know, you've taught me so much along the way that I can take with me and pass down to so many other people. And I can never thank you enough for it. You know, I can never thank your brother. I can never thank your father, your mother. Like, the times I've got to come here and spend with y'all and talk and have conversations and just, you know, pick his brain. Coming from the life I've come up in, I was so limited, and I was in such a bubble. And then what I realized as I got older, that's everybody. Everybody lives in this little bubble.
Yeah.
and they don't know anything outside of their bubble. So it's our job to educate each other and teach each other and help each other grow no matter what we do. And like I said, like when I was young, I was hard-headed. I didn't want to learn anything. Now I want to learn everything I can. Like, I want you to teach me. You know, I didn't realize how crucial learning was. I had a learning block. I had a learning disability because people didn't. My learning disability was I wasn't taught to learn. I wasn't taught to work hard. I wasn't taught, you know, to be what you want to be. You have to put the work in. And it's true. Everybody says, you can do what you want to do. You can be what you want to be. Just work hard. That's true. But they don't really tell you, you know, it's a formula. It's a real formula. Like, you can pull everything aside. Like, to go, if you want to be a lawyer, you got to go through law school. If you want to play in the NFL, well, you should start in Pee Wee football and come up the ranks and play high school football and go to college. Mm-hmm. Poverty is usually ignorance. Poverty breeds ignorance. So just the littlest things aren't taught.
Having a little bit of money is just sometimes one less thing to worry about for somebody. But you're still going to have to teach your child or teach the people around you, even if you do make money, you're still going to have to teach them the value of it and how you were able to obtain it, how you were able to get it. Yeah,
and then you got to learn, I mean, like, look, when you first buy a house, nobody tells you what comes along with the house and how to pay your bills and you know, you're this code and that code, and you got to file for this license once a year, and this, you know what I mean? Or you get ripped off here, or you pay fees here, I'm sorry, stuttered. But yeah, you learn as we go. So I just publicly thank you. You know, I'm talking, I don't want to keep going over, but I just publicly thank you. Like,
I appreciate that.
Thank all y'all. You know, Andrew, everybody here. Like, I really, you know, if I've ever sent you a message, y'all respond. You know, and the same, like, you guys send guys to me. You know, I told you Jimmy Hawx.
Yeah.
So our boy, yeah, he's gonna come down and do some training with me. Cool. He's doing some pro wrestling, and you know, and
guy's a tank, dude.
Yeah, and I'm really focused on taking 2024. And doing some amazing things. Like, I'm always pushing boundaries and trying to do things I never thought I would do before. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do this bodybuilding competition in March, right? March 30th, I'm going to get on stage in Louisiana and blow some shit out the water down there. Okay. And then I'm going to keep this poster boy look and try and have that Nsima abs as I walk around 24/7, you know, make sure I'm looking good for the ladies so I can be on people's walls. I want to be on walls. I want to be like the heartthrob. Like, remember when you used to go to the grocery store and you see
like
those
a poster?
Yeah, like posters, but even those, like those magazines, and the guy's like on the cover, and it's like abs. Yeah. I'll never have the hair flowing and shit like that. But I can oil up my fucking abs.
Power Project Family, we talk about beef and meat all the time on the podcast. That's why we've partnered with Certified Piedmontese Beef. But did you know this? That 85% of all grass-fed, grass-finished beef in the United States is imported from other countries? 85%.
Damn.
But Certified Piedmontese is made in the U.S. of A.
America.
Fuck yeah. So go out and get some of the best tasting, some of the leanest, some of the best beef from Piedmontese. Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. So you guys can head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, cpbeef.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Fuck yeah.
How do you you know, from the way that you grew up, you shared with us before that you grew up basically with hardly any parents, parenting, and you went in and out of these homes, and I'm sure school was a mess and stuff, and then later you got adopted by a teacher, I believe, right?
Yeah, he was a teacher, then he was a disciplinarian and assistant principal.
How do you kind of go from some of that background to how do you not have resentment as you move forward, as you're
lots of resentment. You know, big chip on my shoulder, lots of resentment, frustration, anger.
Resentment doesn't pay the bills, though.
No,
right? You can't use that. You can't be like, hey, but this, you know, hey, but my life's been hard. You don't have like a ticket, or you don't have a thing to show anybody.
This is what I've learned. I don't want to discredit the resentment. I don't want to discredit the anger and the chip on my shoulder, because all of that fueled me to push past. I was a fuck you guy, because everybody always told me what I can't do. Mm-hmm. So it was always fuck you. Nobody came and gave me a hug and said, let me show you how to do this, kid. Let me teach you how to do this, kid. And, you know, very few people did. And I'm sounding like a broken record. Mark Bell's one of those first people to do that for me. Seriously. You know, he's seen something in me and that helped me. But I learned a lot from you as far as that aspect goes.
You never know who you're gonna help. You know, I think people should keep that in mind. You never know who you're gonna help.
I don't want to lose this thought. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
But you, I learned when I go back to saying I learned a lot from you. What I learned over time is like you had a lot of like chip on your shoulder, I'm gonna kick your ass type attitude, and you've kind of humbled as you went along. Your attitude's changed, and I didn't say mine changed because of that. But again, the following footsteps, right? As I got older, I don't want to fight everybody anymore. Like I'll fucking fuck somebody up right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready to go. But I would rather love you. I would rather love you and help each other and let's learn from each other and help. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to, and I don't want to fight. And it seems like everywhere I go, I always have to fight. And I'd much rather be in a situation where we could always work together. My wife always tells me, you know, like from when we first got together, she says it's us against the problem, not us against each other.
Yeah, she knows.
She knows, dog. So that resentment made me, that fight made me who I am. It made me that dog, you know what I mean? Like you wasn't gonna fuck with me, because if you came at me, I'm coming for your neck. Mm-hmm. You tell me I'm not gonna do it, now I gotta do it, motherfucker. I might not even really want to do it. I might just set it out my ass before, but you said I couldn't, so now I have to.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna make you eat that shit. So, and I still like that to this day. But what I find out is nobody ever tells me I can't do shit no more. Because they always go, oh shit. Now whenever I say something, they go, oh shit, Luke said he's gonna do this. We better watch the fuck out. Because they know I'm crazy and I'm gonna do it. Like what I say I'm gonna do, bro. Like bottom line.
That's good.
And you know, and even when it comes to strong arm, even when it comes to my son, you know, we go back to that. Haven't spoke to him in 8 months. I don't agree with things he's doing, and I won't speak to him. And it sucks. It's rough, but it's hard on me. I know that I can't change his time. I mean, his mindset. I have to let him go through the struggles to learn the appreciation. But what it does for me is it takes time away from, you know, I'm older. I'm not old, but you know, I would much rather have my son here, teach him, living the dream life and going all these cool things and, you know, father-son things that people dream about. Mm-hmm. But I know that's not reality right now. I know it. I know that I have to move forward. I have to push forward with what I want, and he has to go find his own way. And that, again, that's resentment, right? That's resentment too, because I'm resenting what has to be done, but I still got to do it because that's what we do as men. The bills got to be paid. I got to show up for work tomorrow. I was going to the gym at 2. I wasn't sleeping, bro. For the last year and a half, probably, I slept 3 to 4 hours a night, every night.
Damn.
And then I just finally, Thanksgiving was the first time I got 8 hours of sleep in so long. And the stuff for my son was driving me crazy. I would get up, go to the gym about 2, 3 in the morning, and I would bawl, cry, do a set. Ball, cry, do a set. Ball, cry, do a set. But I knew my shit had to get done. I knew I couldn't just go sit on the couch and curl up in the ball because I got people that depend on me. I got a company. I got a wife. I got another son. I got a community. You know, I have all these things, but I still have problems like everybody else.
Yeah.
But I still got to come out and get on camera and come on this podcast and smile and wave, no matter what shit I'm going through in life.
Yeah.
No matter how hard life is, I got to show the fuck up. You know, and I tell that to everybody else too. Stop crying, show the fuck up. We gotta do what we gotta do, and let's do it. You know, and that's all to it. And that was been my attitude on everything. That's why I can be a wrestler. That's why I can be in movies. That's why I can come train with Mark Bell. You know, when I first started coming out here, I didn't want to get up early and train, but Mark would say, "Hey, meet me, you know, at this time, whatever time, 5 a.m. or whatever time." I did whatever he told me to do because I want to learn what he knows. So I'm not gonna say, "Well, hey." You think you do about 10 a.m., man? Come on. You're like, we had it? No.
Same thought in my head, bro.
Yeah, well, so now I get up early. Now everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. It's like these certain paths and, influences that are provided throughout life, positive influences. Knowledge is power. You know better, you do better. So when you learn them, you do them.
All right, Project family, it's time to step up your barefoot shoe game. Now, we talk about foot health all the time on the podcast, but the winter months are coming, and Vivo's come out with some slick boots. These are their Gobi boots, and they have different colors on their website. Now, these have a wide toe box, they are flat, and they are flexible, and they are stylish and sexy as boots. But obviously, Vivo is awesome because they not only have boots and casual shoes like their Novus right here, which again, wide, flat, flexible so that your foot can do what it needs to do within the shoe, and you're getting the benefit of having your feet improve while you're walking around in shoes. But they also have shoes for the gym like their Modus, again, flat, flexible, wide toe box, along with their Primus Light 3s and all the classics that you know. They also have shoes for running and trail running on their website. So again, for all barefoot type shoes, Vivo is your one-stop shop for pretty much all the types of kicks you need. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. There you guys will see a code at the top. Make sure you guys enter that code and you'll save 15% off your order. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Let me ask you this, man, because you didn't, well, it seems that you did have some people that helped you out when you were younger. You talked about some guy that gave you some opportunities when it comes to wrestling. But, you know, you have two young boys, right? You have two boys.
Yes, two boys.
Two boys. Where do you think you learned how to be a father? Because, like, you know.
I'm still learning.
You're still learning, of course. So what do you think helped you out with that?
Well, the first one is I wanted to give him everything I didn't have.
Of course.
Can I be real? You want me to be real on here?
Of course.
I'm going to say some shit that probably people don't talk about. I questioned having kids. I questioned myself as a 42-year-old man why I had two kids. Not because I don't love my kids, but I'm going to say shit probably we think that nobody talks about. I don't know what's going on in the world. When I was 20 years old, I wanted to have kids because I love my kids. I wanted to share love. I wanted to give him the love that I never had before. Mm-hmm. I wanted to spread so much love and say I can be everything my dad wasn't, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about the world. I wasn't thinking about finances. I wasn't thinking of, I just thought love, love, love. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the way, when real life comes into play, love don't save you. And love fades. When I got married, my wife's Indian. She's Punjabi. Her dad told me, we don't marry for love. And I never understood that because he said love goes away. You know what I mean? You could love somebody today and not love them tomorrow and break up with them. We marry for, basically investment opportunity. So, and that stuck with me. And it's true because love, if you love something, you might love it at that time, but it's a commitment to love a kid for the rest of your life, right? And most people, how many people that are neglected as children? I was a neglected child.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, my mom told me she loved me every day. I believed her. Mm-hmm. And as I got older, I said, damn, my mom may have loved me. I don't question that she didn't love me, but she didn't know how to love me. She was terrible. She
didn't know how to operate herself.
Right.
She didn't know how to organize herself.
She had 3 kids. She couldn't take care of herself. So most people do that. And I'm sure, it wasn't because she didn't love me, but now I'm going, go back to me saying I question having kids at 42 years old because I don't know how the world's going to be in 10 years from now. I've seen so many rapid changes in my 42 years,
You're not sure about even the existence of another person.
Yeah,
because
well, I want to protect them.
The world is so goddamn complicated.
How can you protect them? How can you, I might die tomorrow. And then when I went through this falling out with my oldest son, to be honest, a lot of times I thought death would be better than this because I was in so much pain because my son was the only thing I had from my childhood on. I don't have no family, no relationships. This was the only thing that has been the consistent throughout my life. And I fought hard to keep him. I fought real hard to keep him by my side.
You had him at a pretty young age, right?
Yeah, 16.
16, okay.
So I had a lot of battles with his mom and, that was always nasty. And she was a great mom, but of course she put me through hell too. We always do, you know what I mean? It goes through and we were young and she's going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. We're still learning. You say, how do you know? I'm learning, I'm learning. But I did the best I can and I showered him with love, but I didn't have the stability. I didn't have a house. I didn't have a I couldn't provide him with any of the things he really needed, like education. I told him now one of the problems we had was early on we had a talk when he got engaged, and I said, look, congratulations on your marriage. Why are you getting married? Oh, because we love each other. Well, I said, well, that's not a reason to get married. You know, love can fade. And I kind of went into the whole thing, but I said, look, I'm sure you want to have kids, right? Well, yeah, we want to have kids. Well, neither one of y'all have any real responsibilities in life. Y'all can't cook. You don't know how to cook meals. You don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that. So these are things like you can't bring a kid to eat. You can't bring a baby to eat fast food. You can't bring a baby out to eat. You have to, you know, like all these responsibilities that come along with having a kid, and you try and explain this to them because I didn't know this, right? Like, we just jump in head first. Typically, anything we do, we jump in head first. Mm-hmm. And then you learn along the way. You go, oh, fuck. Like you said this training along the day. You said, I remember, I'll never forget this. One day you said, sometimes, exact wording, excuse me, I don't know. But you said sometimes you need to engage in something like push yourself past limits. And you go, oh, fuck, that was a little more than I bargained for. Yeah. Now I know.
Yeah, all the way to the point where you're really actually concerned about yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're like, that might have been a big mistake. I think it's important that I think most people that do train hard, I think they probably have got themselves in that position before.
And that's what happens when you have a kid, right? You think it's all good and you know, oh, it's a kid. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I ain't slept in 2 weeks or months or whatever it is, you know, and you're like, oh, I got to bring him to school. And then I got to get him ready for the bus and I got to be to work and you got all these responsibilities.
There's shit everywhere.
Yeah.
I text these guys and I was explaining, this was like a pretty heavy conversation, but my son shit everywhere. There was literally shit in his armpits. It was on his elbows. It was on his legs. It was on me.
His son's 19, by the way.
I mean, shit, the way he eats, we'll see. But there was shit everywhere. Nobody preps you for that.
Nah, you don't learn. But I thought, you know, I thought I had what it took to be a father. And I'm still learning. And I just want to make sure that, you know, I leave my kids, you know, with enough knowledge to provide for themselves when I'm not here. You know, I'm just trying to teach, and explain as much as I can, but also have some fun in the meantime. And it's rough because I'm not a full-time father. You know, you guys get to be full-time fathers.
Look at me, and I'm a dog dad.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm saying, you know, Mark comes home to his kid every night. Like I've always been split. I've always lived across country. I've always lived chasing film, and this, you know, and it's great. You know, people, I get to do I've been in films with both of my kids. You know, both of my sons act. And they do film, and it's been an amazing feeling. Wow! But you know what's a shitty feeling? When you don't see your kid for 6 months because you're on a project, or you might see him a weekend, 2 or 3 weekends out of 6 months that fly by, and there's no real time, and he's growing up. But that's just what comes along with it.
Are you religious at all?
Yeah. So I just started recently, like really learning a lot more. I never grew up religious, but I had some experiences, and you know, I had some good experiences with God. I always pray. But recently, my life this year was turned upside down. Personal reasons with my son, those things. So I didn't look to God for that. I wasn't praying for any of that. He came to me, and he came to me in a lot of different ways, in several ways. I actually passed out on a job. I got this film in North Carolina called Blue Ridge. And it was a TV show, and I got hired as a recurring actor on it. And my first day there, I passed out. I was working with Michael Hearn. Me and Michael Hearn were working, and I passed out on set with Mike. And that's when I was running ragged, dude. I wasn't sleeping. I was super depleted. I was bouncing from times on different projects, you know, 3 different films, and then I was dealing with the stuff from him, and I couldn't tell anybody. I just had to keep a smile on. I was losing all this, dude. It sucked. Mm-hmm. So I passed out on set. And it was the craziest thing. I'm sitting there rehearsing a scene, and I'm talking to the girl, and all of a sudden, it's like a curtain came down. And I woke up, and the lady's rubbing my leg, and she says, he's got you. He's got you. She's referring to God, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I had so many other incidents that happened.
Was that maybe just stress-related? You passed out?
Well, I went to the hospital. I thought I had a stroke. So go into it. It was long. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. That's when I had to get all this blood work and tests done. I was super nervous because my body shut down for basically about a month. I wasn't on any gear. I wasn't on nothing. And it was just my body was so stressed out. And I was running, like I said, I was going to the gym at 2 a.m., do a set, you know, cry my eyes out, do a set, cry my eyes out, barely eating anything. And just, you know, just trying to make it through every day. Being a man, you got responsibilities. I got to show up for my other son. I got to show up for my business. I got to do these, you know, my career's really taking off. So I can't, you know, turn any projects down, or I got to be 110% on everything I do because it's crucial, right? Yeah. For to continue. But I had all this negative stuff going on behind the scenes that I couldn't share, and it was eating me and eating me and eating me, and I didn't know it. But what happened was eventually my body just turned off. And when that happened, it scared me. And they ran all these tests. When it came down to it, they said, okay, your brain's good, your heart's good, you're in like super prime shape, man. And they're like, but your body is in severe shock right now. And they're like, it won't calm down. So I literally lost functions of my body for about a month. Like I couldn't, going to the gym was so hard to do. Like I lost about 20 pounds within a couple days. I was about 220. I dropped down to, I'm about 185 right now. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I decided, like, when I started feeling a little bit better, I said, I'm going to start cutting, I'm going to do some bodybuilding, and I'm going to change, you know, because it was always lift heavy, strong. Mark Bell told me, you should be as strong as you can at all times, blah, 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 you know. So strength. And I was like, you know what, nah, I want to have those peaks on my biceps. Yeah. I want to see the striations in my chest. Yeah. My arms are fucking huge, dude. Yeah, they are. And you see the peaks on my bicep? So, no, my chest is coming good, man. I'm feeling good. I started bodybuilding from there. But it was a big mental fuck because I like the strength. So when you got to train, you're not strength training no more. And, you know, when you could put 315 on your chest and play with it, and now I can't bench it for one. I can right now, but at first I couldn't, you know, and it was like, oh, I'm going to be a weak old man.
How do you change your mindset? You know, because I know that you have a tendency, or is that something you're even working on? Because you have a tendency to sometimes say that even today you'll say I'm white trash, or you'll say I'm dumb. You'll say, I hear you say stuff like that sometimes. I don't know if you're just being like self-deprecating, kind of messing around. But I found it useful for me to do my best to, I haven't been able to eliminate all of it, but I do my best to try to eliminate as much of it as I can.
So when I say it, I'm not being negative, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what everybody's offended. We talked about this. Everybody gets offended. I'm not saying it to be offensive. I'm not saying to talk down on myself. I'm white trash. I grew up white trash. I'm ignorant. You ever watch Trailer Park Boys?
I didn't.
So there's a guy named Ricky on it. And he always says these Ricky-isms, right?
Did you grow up with a broken down car in your front yard?
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If I had a front yard, it was always in somebody's house. So
you already passed, and we didn't even get to any other questions.
Yeah. but that's something that will always be with me. I know what it's like. Like when we get off the phone, I'll show you videos of my living conditions as a child and the houses and. You know, there's those same living conditions. My grandma, if you go to my grandma's house right now with my mom and my aunt, she's Down syndrome. They don't have no teeth. Look, it's bad, bro. She's 90-something years old. They don't have a running bathroom. There's holes all on the floor. There's rats everywhere. And then here I am on television, and they all look to me, but they don't do nothing for themselves. So it's like you can't help them. And it sucks because I can't have that relationship with them like I want to. Like I say want to, but like I would like to see them more and spend a little more time, but you can't because it's so depressing, and there's nothing I can do for them except give them some love when I see them, right? But if I let them, they'll drain me for everything. And not because they're malicious, they don't understand it, right? Like they have never been able to fight their way out the situations they're in. They don't even know no better. But I do. So I know to not put myself in those situations, because if I do, then first off, it's going to hurt me mentally, because to see them continuously struggle still hurts, right? Even though it's not me, it's my parents, my mom, my grandma. I still care about them, even though they had rough lives and bad and the things they put me through. It's still, you know, I look at them as dumb. And I'm not saying to be offensive, they're dumb. I was dumb. I'm a lot more smarter now but I'm still dumb, you know, like I'm still gonna mispronounce words. I'm still gonna, you know, but it's what it is what it is. You know, I was terrible at school, but you know, if it comes to working out, I'll come work out all day. If it comes to teaching choreography on a film or wrestling or, you know, action stuff, that's how my brain works. I get these ideas and I come up with things. Like my brain works in different ways, but I can't fucking spell to save my life. So I say I'm dumb, you know. Well, it's a joke, but it's just like I just know I'm not as educated as I like to be. But I'm constantly learning.
Mm-hmm. So, well, real quick, if you could adjust your beanie, it got a little messed up when you adjusted your hat. It looks, there we go. That's a little bit better.
More presentable.
Yeah. I want this shit to look legit. But
thank you.
Also, so I know you said you had, you know, quote, nothing to lose, but the stuff that you're doing, you are really putting yourself out there. I mean, you're talking about being on camera in front of a bunch of strangers, and then people that you do know that you probably hope that didn't watch whatever it was that you were a part of, whatever project it was. You're like, fuck, I hope that guy doesn't see it because he's going to talk shit or whatever it may be. So, like, other than, quote, having nothing to lose, what gave you the courage to literally put yourself out there to do some, like, very, like, how's the word? Extravagant shit that's going to, like vulnerability is like 100% when it comes to that sort of thing, but you also didn't know how to act. You didn't know how to make these connections, but then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that and I'm gonna kick ass at it. But again, like, you're putting yourself out there and being extremely vulnerable. It's like, what was it?
It's really nothing to lose. I didn't have shit. So like, you couldn't embarrass me any more than I was already embarrassed. You couldn't push me down, and I was already where I was at. I was low. Only place I had to go was up, because anything lower would be death. You know, that's the truth. I had nowhere to go, so I wanted to go up. I was tired of living in those conditions. Yeah. So I knew that I can confidently do these things, or the things like I didn't know that I could do. I learned. So like, I practiced, and I might have fucked it up the first couple times, but I kept coming back. And most people don't keep coming back. Mm-hmm. Once they don't get it, they quit.
It's not for me.
And you know, again, learned to, when it gets hard, that means you need to fucking work harder at it. When it gets hard, that means you need to practice. I tell my son every day, practice. You know, I got good at bench pressing. I say good. I can't say good around you motherfuckers, because y'all like, God, come here, Smokey's little ass benching. Motherfucker.
It's like 160 benching 405.
Hey, Smokey, fuck you, man. Fuck you.
That's what we say every day, pretty much.
But no, I got decent at benching because I fucking did it for years, and I practiced, and I tried every which way I could learn with, you know, bands and slingshot and this and that. Like same with squat. I couldn't squat for nothing. I never did legs, you know, before really meeting Mark. And the reason I wasn't doing them was because the way I was doing them were wrong, and they hurt me. And then I'd go train with somebody, and it, you know, instead of somebody teaching me, Mark was the first person to sit down and go, "Oh, yeah, it's cool, you got some strength, but like, hey, let's position your feet like this, and let's do this, and let's, you know, just drop your ass back." And these little things, I didn't know that. Oh, try these shoes on, put a little lift in your feet. Your hips are this way. I learned. And I think just be open to learning. If I could say anything to people at home, be open to learning. Because as soon as you close your brain off, you're fucked. You know, as soon as you shut your brain off, you're dead. You're fish in the water. You know, dead fish in the water. That's all it is. Because if you ain't learning, bro,
yeah,
you're dying. For real.
What do you think there's, if you do think there's anything, do you think there's any way to get your son back?
Yeah. And, you know, I do. The thing is, I think he just has to go through the process. I don't think there's any talking. I don't think there's anything they can do to reconcile us. You know, we have some differences, and he has his differences. I have my differences.
Where did you maybe go wrong?
I went wrong at losing my cool. You know, again, the chip on the shoulder, the resentment, and all that stuff. You know, like I'm a fighter, so as soon as like I can only take so much, and in that situation, I took it for a while and I kept it to my chest, kept it in my chest before I said anything to him. And then I got so fed up with him one day, I blew up on him. Like instead of like because we had several conversations, obviously, but they never went anywhere. And then finally, it just got to the point where I exploded. And when I exploded, well, the truth was he called me a Facebook father in front of my friends at a wrestling show. And
You're like, it's more Instagram, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And he said it to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, and but he said it in front of people, and it did hurt my feelings. And I had to leave. And one of my friends told me right then and there, I said, man, if I was you, I'd have slapped the fuck out of him. And I had to walk out because I started crying because it hurt me so bad. And I was like, man. And he probably thinks like that, you know, because I post about him so much because you're proud.
Yeah.
And you go, man, I'm so proud of my kid. I don't want to get
Did
sentimental.
it lead you to say stuff to him?
Well, I told him fuck him. I told him fuck him, and you know everything is. And I truthfully, I'll say it. I meant it because he's being hard-headed. I can't take away the things that caused my grief. You know what I mean? My anger, my pain, all that stuff. Like I can't turn it off. And I can't turn a blind eye to it, and I can't. And I'll love him. I'll just love him from far away. I love him more than anything. I'll look in the camera and say, I love you more than anything in the world. I do. But I have to be here, and I have to be a man, and I have to take that step back because he has to walk on his own feet, and he has to figure out who he is. And, you know, and one day I told him, you know, when I was in the hospital, like he didn't check on me, right, which was kind of weird. And it crushed me because, like, damn, even when I thought I was going to die, he was so stubborn he didn't check on me. And I said, hey, this might kill me. And I said, one day if it kills me, you better hope that we fix this and I didn't die. You know what I mean? Because like, and I felt that way because at first I thought it was going to kill me. I didn't know if I was going to make it through it. I was questioning myself. We were talking about it earlier. Kind of went on probably off to the right like I always do. But I was questioning death. I was like, would death be better than that? Not that I wanted to kill myself or anything. Not that. It was just I was in so much pain from losing my son, and I was so close to him from he was the one thing I had. It crushed me. It took my soul. It took my spirit. It took everything. But then I had an amazing job. I had an awesome wife. I had my other son's amazing, and like this career I built and my friends and everything. But at the time, none of that mattered. All that mattered was I lost my son, and then we were having these issues, and it broke my heart. And this is the first time I'm speaking about it, by the way. So besides with friends, besides our personal conversations, but yeah, I've never spoken about this before.
It gets complicated, you know. Like it seems sometimes these things happen in families, and it seems like, oh man, there's got to be some way to resolve it. Like someone could talk to someone, and someone could, but sometimes these things get kind of stagnant. They just kind of sit there.
Well, I was watching Home Alone for Christmas yesterday. And yeah, it's a Christmas movie, right? And the funny thing is that a lot of things, like, look, I'm not going through nothing that 500 million other fathers and mothers don't go through, right? Home Alone, the old man, remember the creepy old man in Home Alone? Like, looks like he's homeless, the guy Kevin's scared of. He sees him in the church eventually, and they talk. So when the guy sits in the church and they talk, they have a conversation. And he says, well, why are you in church? And he says, oh, well, this is the only place I can see my granddaughter because my son won't let me see my granddaughter. And he goes, we haven't spoken in so many years and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's just the same thing. And you watch it on television, and you're like, oh, man, it hits home. Everybody goes
And it's great, the little kid, he's asking such simple questions. Like, well, why don't you just go over there and talk to him?
Yeah, why don't you just call him? And he goes, well, I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I do, you know. And like I've tried to have conversations with my son. We've talked, and as soon as we talk, like, it goes into places it doesn't need to go. And I know for me as an adult, like when he told me that comment, I said, hey, you're lucky I'm 40 and not 30, because if I was 30, I would have came over here and ripped your fucking head off. I would have, because you're not going to disrespect me like that. But at 40, I know that me going over there and kicking his ass would make me feel better at that time just to prove a point. But in the long run, it would do so much more damage, and it would make it so much more worse. Yeah. Right. And I'm thankful for me having that discipline now, because like I said, back in the day, I would have went over there and just beat the hell out of him because he hurt me that bad with the comment. and I know it's not going to get me anywhere. I'm sorry, I lost track. Would you just ask me something?
It's all good. I think, like I said, I think sometimes these things are super hard to figure out, and I think it's just relationships can be so complicated, and then there's like a lot of people get involved, a lot of other family members get involved, and it just gets to be nasty, and especially around the holidays, it can be
everybody takes sides,
even more complex.
Look, I've fallen out with most of the people, and a lot of people over it. You know what I mean? Because some people don't understand my adopted parents. We've kind of had a falling out over it. I haven't spoken to them really. A little text here or there. It's just nobody understands, and they don't understand your position, and they don't understand why you can't just, just say I'm sorry and go. He's 25. Let him make his choices. Let him do this. And I go, no, I have to treat him like I would treat anybody else. I can't give him. I gave him special treatment his whole life. I can't give him special treatment anymore.
Do you feel like maybe just to some degree, because being a parent, we can always look back and I could say, maybe I could have done that a little better, or that a little bit better.
100%.
Do you think maybe, and we talked about this on the phone, do you think maybe you stole maybe too many of his problems?
Yeah.
And maybe just kind of set him up like a little too easy on certain things?
Yeah, he said that. He said that in, some ways. He goes, oh, well, you did this, and you, one reason why he was really angry at me, he says, you make me do all these things I don't want to do. And I said, well, like, what's that? And he said, oh, movies. And I said, well, you don't have to do movies anymore. And he got mad when that was a whole other side talk, and then, but what it came down to was, I said, well, tell the world that you're angry at me for making you do movies. He said, no, because I would sound stupid. Because everybody knows it's a good opportunity. And I'm like, yeah, exactly, bro. Like, everybody knows it's a great opportunity. And he walked in his dad's shoes for so long, and he done everything like dad just told him what to do. Now he's got to find out who he is, who Perry is, who PJ is, right? And I understand that. It just sucks that we're going through all this and we're not going to see eye to eye for a long time. Maybe never again. Who knows? I've accepted that, but that's why I grieve so hard. That's why I went through such a process this year. That's why I had the stress on my body. That's why I lost all that weight, because I know myself. Like, you guys probably know yourselves better than anybody else knows you. So I knew what I had to do mentally was I'm going to have to basically treat him like he does not exist, or like he's just another person. And that was a lot for me to accept. So when I got, and it put it drained me. And then when I finally got the mental strength up, I was out here. It was the week before my wedding. October 23rd was my wedding date. And I was leaving the gym about 6 in the morning. I just crushed a workout, and we talk about God, right? And I was driving home, and I don't feel I know God spoke to me. And people can say what they want. They can call me crazy. God told me to pull over. I pulled over on the side of the road. And for the first time, like, I heard someone speaking to me, if you want to know the truth. And he gave me everything I needed to know in life at this time, like, to get through the situation. He told me that it was going to be all right, and that I needed to enjoy my wedding. And that because, I was on my head that my son wasn't going to be there. And there's a lot of things. So he told me to enjoy my wedding and, all my work with everything. And, like, he flashed my life before my eyes. I'm going to get a little sentimental on here. I know I've cried before on here, but it's, I told Mark when I come here, it just brings up a lot of stuff because, like, this place is a very special place to me. So when I was a kid, I seen, like, Hulk Hogan and Jesse Ventura and Terry Funk in all these movies, right? Like Roadhouse and Predator and all these famous scenes. And then you'd see the pictures of them in the magazines, and Jesse Ventura's working out with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone's working out with Hogan, and, and it was the top guys. The top guys worked out with the top stars, and I wanted to be that. I wanted to be it so bad. I was chasing my dreams. I was doing everything, and I never got to where I wanted to be. I never got to that top spot, right? I wanted to be the heavyweight champion. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. And everybody was like, oh, you're too small. You're this. You're not educated enough. You don't talk well enough. You're not presentable enough. You're not pretty enough. It was always why I couldn't do something. So I had that fuck you attitude, right? Well, then that week when God spoke to me, he sat me down, like, at this time, and, like, he just flashed everything. And he said, hey, man, you're working out with Zac Efron. You're working out with all these elite people and all these, you know, all these actors and all, like anybody we can name it. And they all, you know what they come up to me when they see me when I'm on set? They come, oh man, Luke, if I follow your stuff or they see me, you know, like they know who I am. And then they go, dude, how do I get arms like that? Can you take me through an arm workout? And they got to grab my arm and they got to, you know, and it like, I didn't realize that I worked myself into that spot. Because I was so focused on grinding, I was so focused on the things I didn't get and the things I didn't accomplish and the mess ups I had and the misses and all that stuff and the things I was lacking. I didn't realize everything I fucking did. You know, from A-list top movies with all the biggest stars, from Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Statham, Jamie Foxx, you know, all the A-list directors, Peter Segal, Peter Berg, like it just, Francis Ford Coppola, like the top guys. I've got to work for them and do amazing projects and work myself into the positions I wanted to be in. But I never seen it because I was focused on what I didn't do or what I didn't have.
Yeah.
And this literally just happened in October, and it was all because, like I'm telling you, God pulled me over side the road and talked to me. And it sounds crazy, but again, there was a lot more to it, and it was a process. But I never asked him to come into my life. Well, I did ask him to come into my life. That's another story. But like, I didn't ask at that time. It wasn't because I was going through the things with my son. Is what I'm saying. I wasn't in a time where I needed it. I wasn't asking because I needed it. Yeah. I needed it, so he gave it to me, which was for me amazing because I didn't know what that felt like. And when I went to church and when I went to anything with someone who had experiences with God, I couldn't relate because they would explain these things and God talked to me, God did this, God did that. And I couldn't relate. I said, man, that never happened to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, for the first time it happened. And when it did, it was magical. And it gave me and I guess incentive would be the right word, to want to learn more and want to gain more knowledge. So I started making more of an effort to dig a little deeper and learn more about religion and God and the process and everything. So that's what I've been doing. I've been spending a good amount of time. I say a good amount of time, not a ton of time, but like way more than I would normally do.
Yeah.
I've been making an effort to listen to the Bible and understand it a little bit and just, again, broaden my knowledge and broaden my horizons. Again, like we talk about earlier a lot on this podcast, everything I've said today has been learning. If we go back to everything I've been talking about, it's been about learning. And that's one thing I've been learning about God. So if you have any God knowledge you want to drop on me, you know, your dad's always been a big supporter of that and always drop a little line here or there on me. So if you have anything you guys want to drop on me today, live or on air or off air, I'm all ears.
I was curious, man, because you were mentioning that car ride and you kind of sat to the side of the road. Before that, like, how often did you think about like how grateful you are for stuff? Because that's something that I consistently have to remind myself of. I used to journal a lot, and I'm trying to bring back journaling because of the conversation we were having via text thread. And you had a journal prompt. You can mention that, but that was a practice that even on days where, like, let's just say, like, I'd be like you said, you're always focused on the shit that's not going right. You're always focused on the shit that, you know, is just like not great, or this happened and this happened and this happened in the family and whatever. But when you're able to shift that and just remind yourself of all the things that are good, it really just immediately shifts the mood. Right?
Yeah.
And that's something I've been trying to practice every day, journaling again, writing down specifically the things I'm grateful for, because it's like, it just shifts the focus and it's so fucking helpful.
Well, my wife brought this to me when we got together. Before we go to bed every night, no matter if we're angry or if we, you know, because we it's a relationship.
Yeah.
Every night ain't a happy night. Sometimes she's moody. Sometimes we had a bad day, you know, but we have a good relationship overall. But she makes both of us, say one thing we're grateful for the day.
She knows.
So every night before we go to bed, we name one thing we're grateful for. And it's hard, right? It's hard to always be grateful. Some days it's tough. You got to sit back and think because some days are just wreck days. But there's a lot.
Sometimes it sounds or feels kind of corny. Oh, I'm grateful for my relationship with you. You know, but it's a great thing to fucking draw attention to if things are going good, or if this thing in your life is something that makes you feel good or is working well for you. Then why wouldn't you give it some praise?
No, 100%. And I think we should probably do that more. I think everybody should, right? Everybody should talk about what they're grateful for. I never really had time to be grateful, to be honest. I don't think I was sat back and really appreciated my opportunities because of I was always told I wasn't shit. Even when I did something good, everybody's like, who the fuck cares? Big whoop-de-doo. Who do you think? You think you're hot shit now? Oh, you're in a movie? Oh, you wrestled? Who gives a fuck? You know, and when you first start doing that stuff, you do it, you want acknowledgement, right?
You want people to be like, yeah.
Yeah, like when I go anywhere, like when I wanted to tell people I'm in movies. Now, it's shifted. It's the opposite. I'm in a way where I never thought I would be. Mark, you're a great example of it. Everywhere I go, if I'm around you, you tell people who I am and what I do. My wife does the same. A lot of my friends do the same. It's cool. It's bragging. But now I'm kind of like, oh, yeah. You know, to y'all, I'm like,
and shit.
Yeah. Well, to y'all, I'll be like, fuck yeah, Logan stabbed me in the head. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm in X-Men. Yeah, I'm Fast and Furious, whatever. But, you know, out in the real world, you're just kind of like, oh, wait, they don't give a fuck that I'm in a movie. Why are you telling them that? You know, so, but they do, you know, but I'm just
How tall is Vin Diesel?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm so used to just people just, you know, shitting on what you do. Oh, you think you're better than me because you did this? No, I'm just happy about what I did, man. Can I be thankful? Can I be happy that I made it? You know, can I be happy and thankful that, no, you're not supposed to be, right? And then the other thing, you know this too. Life's changed so much with social media. Dude, this is a great story. I fucked up one time. I think I fucked up with Batista. Batista was always awesome to me. Super cool. Like, he was another guy when I was, you know, nobody was giving me a chance. He seen something in me. He was super nice. And the first time we actually had conversation, I was backstage at WWE working, and I was sitting, you know, back then, like, extras aren't allowed to sit with the contracted talent.
Okay.
So I was sitting by myself, and Dave came over and sat with me. And he could have sat with anybody else there, and he came by himself and he sat with me, and he knew who I was, and we had a conversation. He put me over my work, and you know, he said, hey, I'm gonna say a little word for him because I know you're talented. And that was nice. And Dave was always super cool, and you see how his career took off. He worked real hard. He took a gamble on himself, and he worked really hard to get there. But when social media really started coming around, I'll never forget this because it was a weird market where, like, wrestlers don't take pictures. You're not supposed to ask each other for pictures and stuff like that. And I was trying to grow my social media, and I knew it was big to get, you know, content at the time. It was just kind of taking off. And before we left, like, we were just hanging out. He came in town to shoot Kickboxer, and he calls me up. He said, hey, come down, hang out, blah, 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 at the hotel, you know. So I went over and hung out with him. And at the end of the night, I was like, before I leave, I made the comment. I said, hey, can I take a picture so I could post for Instagram? I was like, you know, you got to keep relevant on social media, like trying to build it at the time, you know? Mm-hmm. And I just remembered, like, it was really before anything took off. And it kind of, he didn't say anything, but I could feel like it wasn't
felt the energy switch.
Yeah. And I felt like an asshole too. And I was like, man, I'm trying to grow my career and I'm trying to grow myself. And he's a big star. And I don't want to, you know, like, it's cool to get the rub. And, you know, you want to, obviously, you also want to brag about your friends. Like, you're proud of them, right? Like, somebody's so cool. Like, I tell everybody about Mark. You know, I tell people about you. I tell everybody, I meet so many people that come here and they do cool things. So I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was like, hey, let's take a picture for my social media, blah, blah. And then I kind of feel like, we haven't really talked that much since then. You know, we have a couple texts here or there, but, like, I've never seen him again. We never hung out again. We never done anything. And it wasn't nothing negative, but I had hung out with him several times before. And he blew up seriously, big time. And it might even be on his radar. And we've talked since then, like I said, text. But it was just one of those odd positions I put myself in. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's
filming these movies, you don't want to be that guy.
No, well, it's different now, and everybody pops their phone out right away. Like, I'm serious. Everything's on social media nowadays, so like you can kind of get away with it. Like now, people take pictures backstage at WWE all the time. Back then, you used to get kicked out if you were caught with doing something like that. So it's changed so much. The industry's changed so much. Like fitness, the fitness industry's changed so much. Like, you trained at Westside Barbell. What would have happened back then if somebody walked in with a camera and was like, yo, I want to get this squat set on camera? They would have probably fucking beat the shit out of you.
Broke the camera probably.
Yeah, they would have broke the camera and broke your ass.
It was hard for me to even get a camera in there when my brother was filming a movie. I'm like, this is going to be an actual movie. Louis like, I don't care.
So let's say that you've already gotten your blood work done with Merrick Health. You've gotten the right supplementation. You've handled your nutrition. But how about the people close to you? How about the people in your life? Recently, I had my mom get her blood work done with Merrick Health, and she's gotten her blood work done many times in the past. But Merrick did an amazing job at looking at her blood work and giving her the supplement ideas to help her move forward. Because one thing is when you go to hospitals and they get your blood work and they do your blood work, when they look at your numbers, they're comparing you to the average person. They're not trying to optimize you and help you move forward. They're just trying to make sure that you're not breaking. Whereas Merrick Health, when their patient care coordinators look at your blood work, and when they looked at my mom's, they're trying to figure out how to optimize you and make you live the most vital life possible. So if you've gotten your blood work done, great. But think about the people close to you. Would it be good for them to get their blood work done and get this type of work done? If so, Andrew, how can they get in contact with Merrick Health?
Yes, super important stuff, guys. Head over to merrickhealth.com/power project. That's MAREK health.com/power project. And at checkout, enter promo code Power Project to save 10% off the Power Project panel, the Power Project checkup panel, or any lab that you select on their website. Again, merrickhealth.com/power project. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes. So,
you were talking about the going to some boys' homes and going in there and talking a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any? Two questions, I guess. Did you ever have anybody that was relatable in that way? Did you ever go or did someone ever come to your school or like anything like that? And also, did you deny the love from your dad that adopted you?
No, I didn't deny the love. That was always a kind of, I'd say, odd relationship because he didn't have a wife and kids when he first adopted me, and then I was a teenager, so like I was already set in my ways. So he knew he couldn't push on me too much because I would go the opposite. But he did teach me lessons, and one lesson he taught me, I tell this famous story that I love so much, is one discipline thing he taught me is he had punished me at one point, and I wasn't supposed to be on the phone because I didn't take out the trash. So trash comes twice a week, and I missed one, so it piles up quick. So he put punishment from the phone. So he takes the phone away. Well, I'm way smarter than he is. Of course, I thought I was. And I said, he's going to go to work. So when he goes to work, I'll be home from school earlier. I'll be on the phone. I'll call my girlfriend, and I'll call my friends, and I'll do all this stuff, right? So I use the phone while he's gone. He thinks not, I don't think anything of it. And next day comes around. Well, guess who forgets to take out the trash again? And he also called the phone while I was gone. We didn't have call waiting, so the phone was busy, so he knew I was on the phone. I didn't know this because I wouldn't have a way to learn this while I'm on the phone to know that he tried to call the house, right?
Yeah.
So the next day I go to school. He leaves in the middle of the day. I guess he must have took a lunch break or something, comes back home. I come home from school that day. He took all the trash from outside. He brought them all inside. He dumped every single can on my bed. In his own house. So not only did I have to clean out all the trash on my bed, I had to wash my bed sheets. My room smelled like shit. But he taught me a lesson, and I never forgot to take the trash out again.
Yep.
So I mean, like he couldn't hit me, right? He had to, like he had to teach me some way. He had to be creative because he's told me a couple times, take the trash out. Okay, you don't want to take the trash out? Take the phone away. Well, that didn't work. So he had to get my attention somehow. And he did. And, I'm thankful for those things. And so he didn't, that was his way of showing love. It wasn't going to be, I love you, give me a hug. I don't even know if his family really did that. First question. What was the first question?
The other question was, did you ever have anybody that was like a role model that was like relatable, where you're like, oh, maybe I can figure something out because this guy comes from like a background that is similar to mine.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Kevin. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Throughout life or just like as a child?
Just
home age.
Just like was there any hope? You know, was there like did you? You know, sometimes
that's
somebody
what I'm
will
asking, age though, because you got to give me a range, because like now there's
from when
guys.
from when you're younger.
When I'm younger,
like someone in Ireland or something might have looked up to Conor McGregor, or you always hear people talk about with boxing. You always hear people talk about like Muhammad Ali or Tyson's background, and people relate to him, and then they went.
I mean, I had my celebrities, but like like back then it wasn't like it was today. You didn't have all the accessible to the internet and see the backstage shit or have them talking, and it was all everything was a show back then. So what you seen on magazines and the news is what you saw.
But there's nobody like in your hometown.
No.
Or nobody's like brother like made it out and did something cool. Or
nah,
anything
but
else.
I had people who were good to me. I had Vic Del Giorno. He awesome guy. He was just at my wedding. He was my coach in baseball when I was like 10 years old. And I didn't play much sports growing up, but like when I did, like a couple times I got to play on a baseball team. I did there. He gave me an opportunity. I still great with him. He has a podcast. I'm always on his podcast. I mean, this is a guy who coached me when I was 32 years ago.
Wow.
And we were very
That's
close.
cool.
He was just at my wedding, and he was just always a good positive influence. I can't say a mentor because like he wasn't teaching me life, but he was always a good positive influence. So I had positive influences throughout my life here or there, but nothing consistent. I didn't have anything I looked up to was wrestling and television and film. So I wanted to be those guys. I want this is bigger, stronger, Look, the truth is bigger, stronger, faster changed my life. I probably talked about it on this podcast every time I'm on here, and I'm being humble, but like I came here today, I cried. I tell you how much you guys mean to me, and they might not want to hear it at home, but the truth is Mark Bell and Chris Bell changed my life. And I'll cry right now and tell you that. Bigger, stronger, faster changed my life. I was in a real rough stage, and I was young, and I didn't have shit, and I was working so hard to try and make it. I was working hard, man, and I was fucking in credit card debt. My minimum payment was like $900 a month, and I was just killing myself trying to get out. And I was renting a room, and I had a 10-year-old son at the time, and like everything was just fucked up. And I went to Blockbuster, and I was going to rent something. I don't even remember what I was going to rent, but I never did this before. I seen Bigger, Stronger, Faster there, and it just jumped out at me. And I never grabbed something I didn't watch a preview for. And I swear, it jumped out, and I said, what is this? I'm going to get it. And I rented it, and I rented whatever else I rented that night too. But I completely changed my thought. Like Bigger, Stronger, Faster was the first thing I watched. I watched it, and everything with Mike and all that stuff. Dude, I wasn't really lifting that much back then. Like I didn't know a lot about lift. I was lifting, but I didn't know a lot. And I seen stuff online, and I was following things, and I was just starting to get to, find out about hardcore gyms and stuff. And so I seen you guys lifting, and I seen the story with Mad Dog, and I knew who Mad Dog was. I'd seen all the matches, and I watched the stuff with Saturn a ton of times, and like I seen all these things with him, and it fucking hit me, bro. I cried that night. I was bawling, crying, and my girlfriend at the time, I said, I gotta work with this guy. I gotta get in touch with Chris Bell, and I gotta work with this guy. And she said, how the fuck are you gonna do that? I said, I don't know, but I'm gonna get in touch with this guy. And I looked him up, and I realized we had some mutual friends, and I called Kevin Kleinrock, and I asked him to put me in touch with Chris. And he did. And me and Chris had lunch. And I came to LA, and me and Chris had lunch, and we worked out at Gold's.
My brother's a loser, by the way. He's always available. So that's why I did it. It wasn't like he had to set up some giant meeting with him or something.
The movie was just so relatable to me because I was struggling with life and I was struggling with wrestling. I was struggling trying to make a name for myself, and I wasn't addicted to drugs or anything. I didn't have no substance abuse problems, but my whole family did. Yeah. So everything related, with Mike, I was relating to, and I didn't relate to y'all's good family and the brothers and how y'all loved each other and all that. I didn't relate to any of that, but it just it hit me on all aspects. And one thing led to another, and I met Chris, and we became brothers. And then, Chris said, you got to meet Mark. And then, Mark, I was friends with CT Fletcher, and I connected them with CT. But, I would go train with CT, and it was just all kick your ass, kick your ass, kick your ass. But I wasn't really learning. Well, I was learning, but not he wouldn't go, this is proper form. This is how you do this. And when Mark invited me up to do the first podcast back in the day and get a workout in and taught me how to deadlift and squat properly. And that was my first time ever squatting and deadlifting properly. And it legit changed my life, and it fired me up, and it, took me in so many different directions. It helped me get bigger, it helped me get stronger, it helped me get faster, it helped me do all those things that I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And he started connecting me with people, hey, this can help you here. And then, or he would say, hey, somebody would contact me and say, hey, Mark Bell told me to contact you. And then, you made a connection. If I knew Mark told me to contact, they're great people. So we just started helping each other. And I'm speechless because if I didn't have Mark and Chris Bell, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm sorry, it's hard for me because you guys don't know what you mean to me. Y'all don't know the ways you've helped me, the influences you had on my career, not just help me, but in turn help so many others because I'm able to pass it down. So that's why I fucking actively go out of my way to text Mark and tell him thank you. And I do it to Chris, and I probably bother him when I do it. I'm serious, I probably do, because it's the same, it's a fucking broken record. But I'm going to always tell him thank you. I'm always going to tell you how appreciative I am of you and your brother and your father. You know what I mean? Because you guys you didn't have to give me the time of day. You didn't have to show me. You said, you measure the character of a man by not what he does, but what he doesn't have to do. You didn't have to do any of that shit for me. I don't know a lot of quotes from a lot of other people. I can't quote,
Shakespeare.
I can't. But I could fucking quote Mark Bell. Yeah. I'll tell you that. You changed my life. You changed my kid's life. You changed my student's life. And you did that because you're a fucking good man. And your family's good and your brother's good. And you guys never asked me for anything. All you wanted to see was me get better. And, for me, no matter what I do or where I am in my career, I'll stop what the fuck I'm doing to come over here for Mark Bell. That's the bond you have with me. I'm not your best friend. I'm not going to be able to spend 5 hours talking to you on the phone all the time because you're busy, I'm busy, whatever. But I promise you this, when you call me, I'm coming.
And if I need someone killed, I know who to go to.
You motherfucking right. I make some calls. I ain't going to do it myself because I can't get my hands dirty anymore.
But you know the right people.
You fucking... I know Nsima. He's a beast. Yeah, fuck. We're going to see him. That's why I'm ready to put you in the figure 4 here. Don't think I forgot.
Oh, my God.
Why not just get a regular job and go that route?
That's not me. I hated life working. I never wanted to be a regular worker. I never wanted to be. And there's nothing against regular work.
You did do a lot of that, though.
I did a ton of it.
A lot of plumbing you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it taught me discipline.
Hard work.
It taught me structure. It taught me discipline. A month ago, I sat down with the guy who gave me my plumbing job. I took him to lunch. I ain't seen him in years. I just took him to lunch and thanked him. I said, hey, you taught me these things in life that I needed. You instilled discipline in me. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go to work every day. I didn't want to get up early. I didn't want to do these shitty jobs. And he told me, and I said, I'm grateful I did, though, because you taught me so much. And it therefore transitioned later in my life. It helped me with just, Now I can fix things in my house I need to fix. I don't have to call somebody. And I can teach my son to do those things. But like he told me, he said, well, that all goes back to old man Blair. That's the guy who owned the company before him. He goes, and that's because when I got out of high school, Blair hired me. And I'd call Blair up about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and say, okay, just finished my last job, bringing the truck in. And he goes, bringing the truck in? Oh, no, man, I got a job for you in the East. And he goes, oh, well, it's 4 o'clock. If I go out to the East, it's going to take me an hour to get there. And, I'm not going to get home till 6 o'clock. And he's like, what's that, son? You want to come park the truck? No, sir. I'm on my way to the East. And he goes, but this is what that motherfucker would do. He goes, I get done with that job at 6 o'clock. I call him and say, hey, all right, just finished on my way, and go, okay, I got one more for you on your way home. Now I'm not getting home till 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That instills character, discipline, some educational words that I'm probably not familiar with that Mark knows a lot better than I do. But, it's you build character, right? Like, I had to do things I didn't want to do, but it made me a better person. And you think I want to come stretch for 20 minutes before I work out? No, but I have to, and I know it's going to make my workouts better. Discipline. Discipline is a big factor in life that didn't come along till a lot later in life for me. I don't know where you guys found. I mean, you're a champion everything, so your discipline has been around forever. Nsima, you're a phenomenal athlete. Where was that point in your life? Where did you really find discipline? For me, it was like very late. Later than I wanted it to be honest. Very late. Where did you find discipline? Where was discipline? Did you grow up with discipline? Like, and I don't mean paddle. Like, hey, I have to get up and run at this time. Hey, I have to eat these meals on time. Hey, I have to do this. Where did discipline come into your life?
I would say for me, I think it first happened when I was pretty young. I think I was probably like almost going in like high school. I was already working out. My brothers showed me working out. My brothers showed me how to lift and stuff like that. And I'd work out with them. Some stuff though isn't really discipline because some stuff's like, oh, my brothers lift, so I lifted. I didn't necessarily like love it yet. I didn't fall in love with it yet. But as I got into like more sports, as I got into like track and football, and as I got into more stuff, I just kind of recognized things that I wasn't good at. I remember in football, I remember like running and just being like really, really winded and being like one of the last guys like in this this drill that we were doing. We're running like 100 meters and you would run the length of the football field and you would do so every X amount of seconds or minutes. And I could run fairly quickly, fairly fast, but I was like dead last on this stuff. And I'm like, man, this is just, so I just remember that feeling. And I was like, whatever this is, like because there's guys that are better than me and there's guys that they're bigger than me. So it's not just because that was the excuse, like I'm a little bit heavier, I'm a little bit bigger. But I'm like, there's another guy on the team that's like 6'5" and he's crossing the line before me. So just, I think at that point I started to kind of recognize like I could probably make some changes and probably do some. So I would wake up super early and like work out before I went to school and stuff like that. And I noticed that I got better. And then as I got older, that happened more and more and more. And I was like, oh my God, these variables are like so controllable. And I think I was blocked off to a lot of stuff too, because like I did it physically and I didn't really recognize that I could do it mentally. Like it took me a long time to catch on. So it started probably when I was a teenager, but I'm still working on like getting deeply rooted with discipline, but I would say it got really, really shaped probably like almost like mid-30s. So it took a while.
Yeah, and I'm finding the mind muscle connectivity and stuff. Like when I was powerlifting, I didn't have that. It was just come in, try and rip it up and try and go and try and give all I got. But now, like with the bodybuilding stuff, I started feeling like that connectivity to the muscle. And I really enjoy that. Yeah. It's a good feeling when you can like single out a muscle and and you really feel it activating. I really enjoy that feeling. So I wish I could have found that early on because I don't know if I could have been potentially better than I am now if I would have found that earlier.
What about for you, Nsima?
Oh, discipline-wise? Man. I was super fortunate. Even though my dad wasn't there, my mom was extremely involved, and my mom was she put me in like music stuff when I was younger. So I learned how to play clarinet and piano super well. But I stopped playing that in high school. But the thing is like that's something that I had to go to practice for that every single week. I'd have to practice every single day. I'd have to get ready for solos and recitals and shit for my clarinet. But I was able to see that, okay, I can get good at this type of thing.
And you really did you like it?
When I was younger, I liked it because I got really good at it. But when I got to high school, she was like, if you want to, you can keep playing. And I was just like, nah. And I truly like realized I didn't like the clarinet, but the guitar is something that I dig. That's why I picked it up in adulthood. I
think that's kind of cool. As a good lesson as a parent, like it's not easy to kind of, you know, push your kid into something or to kind of like quote unquote make them do something, but you might want to give them exposure to something that they might not think that they like because it might teach them discipline.
Yeah.
So it's like you really it's easier to learn that with something that you don't really love. You know, like, hey, we're going to soccer practice. You're all fired up. You're always excited probably every time.
Yeah.
But your mom wanted you to be well balanced as well, I imagine.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that like I'm extremely grateful for because like, you know, you mentioned how there was nobody in your life when you were younger that really told you you could do things. When you said, I want to do this, everyone was like talking shit on it. She was like, the things that I wanted to do, even though she wanted me to like head towards medicine and other stuff, like she put me in soccer, she put me in baseball, she put me in basketball, she put me in all these sports and going to practice, getting better. I had that experience of anything that I want to do, I can just practice it and get better at it. So I never had a limiting mindset on the things that I wanted to take up. And that kind of bled its way into myself and as an adult. And I'm thankful for that. I'm lucky in that sense. Even though it was just her, that helped so much. So it's just like, if you got kids or if you know a kid, you know what I mean, that doesn't have somebody like that, you can be that person to kind of like feed them that type of idea. Because like you mentioned, you can learn anything.
Yeah. And that's what I keep just telling my son, my youngest son, is like, I just want to teach him as much as possible. You know, I don't like
he's partly crazy, right?
Super crazy.
Because I remember last time you were on he was like a little guy.
He's awesome though.
And you said he was nuts.
He's calmed down, but he's I mean, his first word was fuck. Like
that's right. That's right.
Really? Oh yeah. He used to get so mad when he's like
he swears a lot. I think you said. Yeah. Or used to.
He's like super aggressive too.
Yeah,
right?
super aggressive. But like
yeah, you remember
funny.
that, Andrew?
Yeah. I kind of remember this. Like, didn't he tell someone to fuck off? Like
all the time.
Yeah.
As a kid, dog. He did, like you could beat his ass, it didn't matter. Like I never hit him. His mom hit him. But like his mom would tell me, she'd call me up and she'd go, oh, my real name's Oren. She'd go, Oren, you gotta do something. She goes, my hand hurts from hitting him so hard and it ain't even affecting him. He just looks at me. He used to tell me, oh, I'm gonna be so bad when you drop me off at mom's. He's like, hey, she could hit me, it don't matter. I'm still gonna be bad. I just be like, hey,
I remember
bro.
You saying that. Yeah, I'm gonna be bad.
He's
I'm gonna be bad.
He's hilarious and man,
so
great,
funny.
Great little actor, great little. You know, he just started wrestling. He's in his second year in wrestling. He's in 7th grade, and he's getting his ass kicked, dude. They're beating the shit out of him. Look, because he's varsity. He's 7th grade varsity, second year wrestling. His wrestling team, to be honest, isn't great. Like it's a smart school, so they're not very athletic driven. It is. It's not very athletic driven, right? So he's going and he's wrestling. His first match in 6th grade, bro. He wrestled a 17-year-old senior girl last year, and I thought she was gonna kill him. I was like, please don't let this girl. I'm like, how can this grown woman be wrestling my little bitty son? Because he's in 6th grade and he's wrestling a 12th grader.
Yeah.
But that's the same weight class. So, and to be honest, he held his own a little bit.
Okay.
Like he took her down. He got one takedown, and I thought she was going to kill him. And so I'm just glad he walked away.
Was she being kind of nice and she was older, or was she giving it to him?
I think she was trying to get into him a little bit. Because, you know, they were about the same size. She probably had 10 pounds on him, but like
I'd
she was
forfeit. If I was going to go against a girl at that age, I'd just feel like, the singlet situation's not going to be good.
But I mean, thinking about it,
I'm rolling around with a girl, it's not going to work. I got zero control
there
at that
you go.
age.
Yeah.
You don't control at that age.
Especially being in 6th grade, you said, right? And then you're going up against basically a woman.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's 17.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that'd be tough.
And but like, you know, he's enjoying it. He's been getting his ass kicked. I said, look, just stay with it, and eventually you're gonna get the strength, you're gonna get the size. But look, he's doing things that I go in the room before bed. He's doing push-ups. You know what I mean? So these are things at 12 years old. Like I didn't do that. So like positive influences, they go a long way. He sees dad eating this. He sees dad training this. I seen my parents banging dope. You know what I mean? I'm walking in the bathroom, my mom's smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a difference in what the hell I'm seeing compared to what my kid's seeing.
Yeah.
So it's and I know that I'm influencing him in a direction that will help him for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
If I teach him how to eat properly now, if I teach him how to take care of himself, and these things I didn't know, the stupidest things, like I was explaining to you earlier before we went on air, I was explaining to these guys that I had a stomach problem for years. For over 20 years, I had a stomach problem, and I went to several doctors. I couldn't fix it. They gave me every medicine, upper GI, and you know what their effect was? The reason why I had stomach problems was I was overeating. I was so used to being poor that every time I ate, I stuffed my face until I could not eat anymore. And nobody ever said, "Hey, man, are you eating too much? Are you doing this?" No, that wasn't even a question.
It was just life.
It was just, "Oh, well, we'll give you what effects are what symptoms are you having? Oh, we'll just give you this medicine. Oh, well, we're gonna have to take you and do this." I mean, look, just for my coccyx the other day, I went to an orthopedic for the first time. We were talking about my coccyx earlier.
Yes.
And we were making jokes about it. But the reason I found that out is I went to an orthopedic for the first time, and it's the second time I've seen this guy. The first time was for my ribs. It was a rare injury. He couldn't fix it, couldn't do anything, time to heal it. Second time I went to see him, he told me the same thing. This is such a rare injury. He's never seen it before, blah, blah, blah. And you know what he told me? Right off the bat, recommended. He wanted to prescribe me some medicine, and he said that they were probably going to have to do surgery and might have to cut that area of my tailbone off. He doesn't know, but they want to start talking to a specialist. They want to talk to a spine specialist. This is 2 weeks ago, bro. This is 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm an athlete. If I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, and I didn't know health, and I didn't know my body, and I know this, they'd be trying to cut me open, bro.
Yeah, you'd believe it because he's a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? I'm thankful for the education that I have.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the Power Project putting out all this free knowledge for people to learn and do things like go to Merrick Health and do your blood work and, you know what I mean, get your levels tested. There's so many little things that you guys give out for free that a lot of people can pick up on to help. Because if I didn't know better, I'd probably be taking some drugs right now, and not over the counter, behind the counter drugs, whatever you call it, prescribed drugs.
Yeah,
prescribed drugs, and setting up a surgery date. But since my wife's a physical therapist and I take care of myself, I gotta get the finger up the butt.
There we go.
And we'll be.
You learned that
good.
from the Power Project.
That's it.
That's what we talk about all the time.
One finger, not two.
You're working on the movie Iron Claw. What are some of the things that you did? What are some of the experiences you had? Because a lot of times you're like directing some of the action scenes, right?
Yeah, coordinating the action scenes and putting them together and teaching them to fight. So it's Iron Claw was a cool project because it was a true story. Everybody knew how popular the Von Erichs were. Oh yeah, there's the trailer right there. Look how jacked Zach was, right? So jacked.
Oh my god, yeah, he looked incredible. He's so shredded and jacked in the movie that he's wearing like kind of a not a really tight shirt, but there's a scene where he's just wearing like kind of a normal shirt and you just see his abs, like layers of abs just right through his shirt. You're like, holy fuck. He really took his time getting jacked for this.
You know what I like is those shorts are back in style now. I love wearing those shorts.
Oh, like that dude from The Bear.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Oh, he's such a good actor.
He's great. Jeremy's awesome. Hey, so hard of a worker too. So now Holt, the dad, how did you think he did?
I thought he was absolutely incredible.
So good, right? So
yeah, he was amazing.
Holt was amazing. He's got to win an Oscar for this performance.
He was unbelievable.
He has to be at least nominated because Holt's performance as the dad was just so like you love him and you hate him at the same time. But like because he was so stern. He was so stern and so raw and but that's how it was back in the day. There wasn't no crying. You couldn't just dads didn't give love. Dads didn't hug their kid there and say, "Hey, come here, son. Everything's gonna be all right. Let me take you for ice cream."
Right.
Back then, your dad, I don't care. Get your ass out in the field and do this work, boy. It's gotta get done.
It's a fun movie. I liked it a lot. How did you end up getting into coordinating stunts?
Well, I was a stuntman. Well, I am a stuntman. So from there, obviously
your wrestling background probably helped with that.
Yeah, of course, because we coordinate a lot and we choreograph a lot in wrestling, right? There's a lot of choreography that goes along with wrestling, so we put it together. But my first project was a film called, not my first project, but first project I did some coordinating on was Mysterious Island, Jules Verne, Mysterious Island. Remember that movie?
I don't.
So, well, The Rock was in the Disney version.
Oh, okay.
So then they made, back in the day when they had a big movie, Sci-Fi would always do a knockoff version.
Yeah.
So I got this like cheap version from Sci-Fi Network. So when Jules Verne's Mysterious Island came out with The Rock for Disney, they had the Sci-Fi version. So I got casted as like this evil pirate in it. And as me and my buddy Sean Bro and another buddy Eric, and we're in this one scene, and we were in a few scenes, but the stunt coordinator that day, he was juggling 2 projects, and he had an emergency on the job. He had to leave and go to the other project. Mm-hmm. So he goes, Luke, you're the wrestler here. You got the fighting experience. You got to coordinate this little fight scene for y'all. I didn't know a fucking thing, bro. I mean, I knew how to coordinate fights, right, from wrestling, but like I didn't know movies. I was still very young, and all I knew was an opportunity was dropped in my lap. I had to do well with it. I couldn't let this coordinator fail because if I failed, he failed, and he probably wouldn't hire me again. And it wasn't like it was this big difficult scene. It was a simple fight scene. But for somebody that doesn't have that much experience, and all of a sudden now a director's coming up to me, Mark Shepard comes up to me, he says, "Oh, Luke, at the time he gives me his lens, he goes, you think we should shoot this with a 50? I didn't know what a 50 was, I'm like, yeah, 50 sounds great, man. Let's shoot a 50.
Maybe a 55. Why not? Fuck, sounds good.
You should have been like, maybe a 53. He would have been like, those don't exist. Like, yet.
So, it was so funny, dude. So I bullshitted, I just, oh, yeah. And then I hated that I had to do that, though, because it was awkward, right?
Yeah,
and I got put in the position, but the guy left me in it because he trusted me, and I don't think he would have made a poor decision. So I coordinated a scene, and we shot it, and it was great. And I was like, oh, it gave me a little confidence.
You can do that.
I can do it. Well, it was the same with acting and film. When I first got into it, I didn't know somebody like me could be in wrestling and acting and television shows. I thought you had to be from Hollywood to do that stuff. I didn't know. And then again, my whole life, everybody always told me, oh, well, you don't have this, you don't speak properly, or you're not pretty enough, or you don't have whatever it is. And then all of a sudden people all started going, hey man, you did really good at this. Oh man, we like you look. Oh, you look, this was awesome. Oh, you crushed this. Oh, we want you in this. So, and then I started kind of building myself up because somebody else started building me up. And I always had some confidence, but I never had somebody, my confidence was more arrogance, I would say, because it had to be. It had to be. So everything I had to come in and do was I had to get it done. I had to come in here and work out with Mark Bell. I had to work out with Mark Bell. I had to do what I'm not going to do what he's doing, but I had to do what he tells me to do, no matter if I didn't know what I was doing or not. Same in those situations. I had to do whatever the hell I had to do to get it done, to grow, to grow my career and be what I wanted to be. And now all of a sudden people started, and once I did a good job at it, I said, okay, well, if I work a little harder here, I could get better here. And if I work harder here, I can get better there. And if I do this, again, the learning, the practicing, that's been like the subject matter today, learning and practicing. And I just started, working on more things. I started taking my phone and recording myself do stupid things and just like practice, or talking to myself and going in the camera, shooting promos or trying to act out a scene. And just like, I would just be doing, like I'd pick a scene and I would walk down the street, the same way I would do with wrestling. I would walk everywhere. If I'm walking down an aisle in a grocery store, there's some, cereal boxes or something, I'm giving it a wrestling punch, And people think, in Walmart think I'm fucking nuts. And I am. but I'm nuts because I'm doing it for a reason, right? Yeah. Like when I'm practicing a scene, if I got some dialogue, I wouldn't want to walk around and be in character, but now I'm like, I'm studying for my job. So if I might walk around this fucking hallway in character, oh hell yeah, doing my Steve Austin, like just practicing whatever my dialogue is, and you can't be embarrassed about it. I have to become what I need to become in order to pull that job off.
Yeah.
So if it's wrestling, if it's film, if it's coming on here and podcasting, you know, we've talked about fitness. We've talked about my personal life. We talked about my son. We talked about film. We've been all over the place, you know, and typically, like, you wouldn't share none of that stuff, but I'm open. So I want to share it. And I want to share my experiences because somebody out there can relate to that. People know what it's like to go hungry. You know, people know what it's like to have a problem with their child and not speak to them. People know what it's like to lose someone. People know what it's like to have relationships get fucked up. Mm-hmm. You know, people know what it's like to have some success here or there, or do good, or get somebody, or get a pat on the back. You know, everybody loves to be patted on the back. Nobody likes to be told they're doing something wrong or they're fucking up. Yeah. But sometimes you got to be told you're fucking up, right? Somebody needs Mark had to tell me, hey, you're doing this wrong. And oh shit, okay, well nobody ever told me that before. So I have to fix it. Now it's up to me to fix it. So self-awareness, we didn't talk about that. You know, I think that's one thing a lot of people, I tend to think I have good self-awareness. I know I talk a lot. I know I bring my conversations in different directions. I try and fix that. I know that I'm a lot to handle. And I'm honest, because like I'm all over the place. Mm. And that's just how I function. Like sometimes I haven't mastered a lot of the things I do yet. I might start something right here. I might be working on something right here, and all of a sudden something pops in my head, and I have to stop what I'm doing right here and go do what pops in my head, or else I won't do it, or it won't get done. And then I'll come back to this.
You're aware that you got to do that.
Yeah. So like there's little things that I'm aware. Like it sucks because I would rather just focus on this one thing and finish this project. But I know that if I don't stop, I'm not going to go do this over here, or I'll lose out, or I'll forget it, or I'll forget what the idea was. So, you know, I know that my focus isn't always there.
I like that you, when you called me, you said, you know, you have the situation with your son, and maybe you're not as focused as you would like at the moment, and you decided to do a bodybuilding show. That's kind of why you set it up. I think it's important for people listening to kind of hear that, because I think a lot of times people are, I don't know, people just sometimes they need goals. Sometimes they need like a North Star.
Yeah, goals are great. Everybody should have goals. You should have a vision of where you want to be and where you want to see yourself going. But here's the thing. Everybody has ideas of what they want for themselves, but they don't always put the steps, they don't take the steps needed to go in that direction. Yeah. And then they often wonder why they failed or why they never got what they want.
Here's what I really liked about what you told me, though, is that you wanted to do a bodybuilding show, not necessarily just to do a bodybuilding show. You wanted to do a bodybuilding show to get leaner, to get in better shape, to have the experience of doing a bodybuilding show. But then you want to do another one. And then you want to just chill, and you want to just try to stay at that body composition-ish for as long as you can, because you want to kind of rebrand yourself.
Because what I said was, and he hit it on the head, but what I said was, I want to do one, right? And I'm going into the first one blind, no experience. I'm going to get some coaching. I'm going to talk to some guys and get some help with it. But I know what I really wanted to do is, for my first competition, I would have preferred to spend a couple days with someone during their last week of prep, like somebody who's serious in it, and go to prep with them and go to the show with them. But I don't have time to do that now. So anytime I've ever had to go to like Olympia or Arnold, it's always been with Isatory and them. So I've always been there as making an appearance, come to the booth, or come over to Slingshot booth, hanging out with you guys. I've never done the actual competition. Mm. So out of respect for the sport, I want to learn more about the sport of bodybuilding and show proper respect. Because anything I go into, like acting, like I want to be respectful to anyone who does it as a career. I would never want to come disrespect the guys who take bodybuilding as a career or powerlifting, anything. When I'm going into somebody else's world, I want them to know, hey, I'm doing this not because I think it's easy, not because I think I'm better than you, not because I think I can beat you, but because I admire what you guys do, and I want to totally respect what you do and the efforts you put in. So please show me and teach me what you know, or any tidbits that I can pick up on to help me make my journey a little better and make my knowledge a little more powerful, And I think that going into the first one, I don't know what to expect. So I give myself a second one. So after the first one, I can go, okay, well, I kind of got a little wind underneath my wings. Now I know what to expect for the second one.
Yeah.
And then figure it out from there if I want to do anything else with it. But if I can knock 2 out and, you know, I know I can do well. I know it. I know my drive. I know my discipline. You know, Lord forbid, you know, I get hurt or anything. I don't want to say. I just want to stay healthy. Let's make sure I can keep everything level and, you know, push myself. I've been getting up training harder. I've been pushing myself training. Like I wake up in the morning, my workouts are a lot harder now. I'm really focused on making my workouts harder instead of just like for a while this year, I tell you I was going through the struggles. I was coasting on my workouts. I was getting through my workouts where I'd have a good workout, but now I'm pushing myself. Matt Vincent, one thing Matt Vincent told me that changed me a long time ago was I wanted to train with Matt. You guys set me up with Matt, and Matt lives in Baton Rouge, which is an hour away from me. And Matt invited me up to come train with him. So I say, what gym are we going to go to? He goes, oh, we're not going to the gym. We're going to go train in my garage. And I never worked out in so much garage at that point. You know, this is years ago. But I was like, oh, man, you don't go to the gym. You know, you don't see all your friends and get that camaraderie. And he goes, nah, man, I train by myself every day. I was like, man, you train by yourself in this garage? Like, how the fuck do you do that?
That's why he's 2-time world champion.
That's why he's a 2-time world champion, because he was a mental mindset to go in the garage and kick his ass. And I learned from him. I learned to like, you have to be self-sufficient. You have to be self-aware. You can't depend on anybody else. Fuck a gym. Like, get it done. I trained this morning. I called Mark up, you know, I wanted to do legs here because I wanted to train at super training. He said, hey, super training might be a little weird because we're moving some things around. So you know what I did? My ass went to the gym at 5 a.m. this morning when it opened, so I made sure I got my workout in before I came here just in case I couldn't get one.
Yeah.
Just to be sure. You know, and 10 years ago, I wouldn't have did that. Maybe not even 5 years ago. But now it's the most important thing is my health, my workouts, you know, my diet, and teaching that, again, to others, you know, again, my kids, my friends. And that also disrupted relationships because I can't tell you how many relationships, if I ain't going to the bar drinking or if I ain't going to Hooters or if I ain't going here, you know, my friends ain't going to get clean eating with me. They don't want to do that. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't understand why I'm in bed at 9 o'clock and getting up at 4 in the morning. You know, why would you work out before you get up early and go? And I don't have to get up early. That's the thing is I don't have to because I don't have like a 9 to 5 job, right? So I could sleep to 8 and go to the gym, but I don't. I get up 3:30, 4 o'clock every day. And again, a testament to this man and you guys, you know, I see all this training and I've always been told, you know, the best workouts are first thing when you wake up in the morning. And when I was younger, I didn't want it. Now I crave it. Now, seriously, you can look me in my fucking eyes. When I go to bed, I dream. I think about what I'm doing the next day at the gym. I can't wait to I get so excited before bed. I pass out. But I get so excited before bed because I'm thinking about gym the next day. Gym. I'm going to fucking squat. I'm going to bench press. I'm going to curl. I'm going to do whatever it is, you know?
Yeah.
Every day, that's my mindset. You know, Stan everything told me a long time ago. Every time I go to the gym, it was a fucking party. So I was like, I want to party. And I'm dropping quotes. Like I said, I can't quote Shakespeare, but I can quote Mark and I can quote Stan and I can quote Matt, you know, and these guys that help change my life and help push me in a different direction, help me be a better athlete, help me be a better father, help me be a better friend, you know, and that's what life is about for me. And now I'm just trying to pay it forward. I'm still trying to grow. I still have a long way to go. Like I'm going into more acting, more coordinating. You know, Wildcat Sports is growing. We got big plans for 2024. That's my wrestling company down in New Orleans. We're crushing it. You know, we're in the rebuilding stages right now. But we had that, you know, my son jumped off the mall. We went super viral before COVID. Y'all seen that video, right? You never seen that video? My son jumped off the Yeah, if you go to my Twitter or if you just kid jumping off mall, wrestler jumping off mall.
I think you showed it to me before,
I forgot. hundreds of millions of views. And then, like that, that.
Wow.
I had this idea for him to jump off the second story of the mall when we had a mall show. And I shot it bird's eye view because I said it would go viral if we shoot it like this, right? I shot it from every angle, but I knew this one angle would be perfect.
Yeah.
So when we shot it, dude, it went crazy. And then COVID hit 3 weeks later and shut the world down. But we were on ESPN for a week straight, every show. Yeah. Sports Center,
His girlfriend jumped off the cable machine onto him.
No, that was my girlfriend. That was a friend.
Oh, a friend. Sorry. A friend.
She was a girl, though.
Yep. There you go.
Whoa.
Hey, my wife gonna listen to this. You can't say shit like that.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, that looked like it.
Yo, that looked wild.
Yeah.
Rewind that again one more time.
That must have hurt.
It's just that. Man.
This is your son?
Dude, and
That's me down in the ring, too.
like distance-wise.
In the back.
Oh, my gosh.
What a good dad, huh? Hey, son, you want to jump off the second story of this mall?
Wow.
What would Andrew's, what do you think Andrew's finishing move would be? Andrew Zaragoza.
I've been getting into grappling, so there's that. A go-to choke that I have been going to is called the bow and arrow.
Oh, I know the bow and arrow.
Okay, yeah, that's been...
It's good to have a hold, but he needs a move too, I think, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You
put together shows.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
How's he going to win this? How's he going to win this match?
But the only thing that's on my mind right now is a finger going in my ass. So I'm like, just everything I'm thinking is, please stay away from my ass, Andrew. Stay away from my
fingers
ass.
are pretty long too, so
you do have
maybe
long
that
fingers.
could work.
He's even got a little tattoo on one of his fingers too.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a sign.
It could be the stopping point. Don't go past the tattoo. Wait, let me see the finger first. I want to see this tattoo.
This guy right here. So
yeah, don't go past where it starts.
Okay. About the first knuckle.
Yeah, the first knuckle.
All right, man. Well, it was amazing having you here. Always appreciate you coming around, and good catching up with you, man.
Yeah, it's great. And again, I was all over the place today. I didn't have a lot I didn't have a game plan when I came in here, and I didn't know what you guys wanted to talk about. But I want to publicly say, not just thank you for everything you've done for me, but thank you for letting me come on here and be real. Yeah. And maybe hopefully talk about something different that does happen in people's real life. Like we did talk fitness, we talk movies, and we talk bullshit, right? And we joke around, but we talk about real life stuff. And today, we talked about something that was personal with my son. And, that was very, very, I told him, out of everything I've been through in my fucked up life, that was the most difficult thing I've ever been through. It was just a different feeling, a different, emotional loss when I went through it. So to come on your show and be able to open up with people, I hope that, people at home listen and they can, hopefully see something in their life and see if you're struggling with this situation, just know that, others are going through it too, and keep your head up. And hey, the bills got to get paid. We got to go to work tomorrow, and we got to lift each other up and be as positive as we can and be here for each other. And Mark Bell, Chris has done that for me. And I cherish every opportunity I've ever had to come on here, and I appreciate it.
Cool. Stay tuned because we're going to try that figure 4, but strength is never weakness, weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, Luke Hawx, check out this episode with Raymond Querido, or the Online Coach. We talked a lot about bodybuilding in this episode, and if you're trying to get leaner with less effort while eating more food, which just sounds like a fucking fairy tale, check it out.